Well, hey, Steve.
Hello.
How you doing today, buddy?
Oh, just Jim Dandy. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm okay. I'm just coming out of a meeting with the Illuminati, and if you're wondering why I don't have anything behind me, my clock is gone, my posters are gone. People found out that they were Illuminati linked, so they didn't really like that. I had to take it down. So, Steve, in case you're wondering, that's why. Okay. Can you hear me, Steve?
Yeah, I can hear it. Sorry,
Okay.
I had a few other things going on in the background here.
That's okay. That's okay. And welcome to you guys to NonSequitur. I'm Kyle Curtis. That is Steve McRae. We have both Daves actually in the house too, behind the scenes. We are streaming to YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch, all three currently right now. So if you're on those other platforms, welcome. And tonight we're going to play Debate Roulette. And this one is kind of special because the winners of tonight will get their own episode and be able to choose the type of discussion that you want to have. So if you're somebody that gets into comic books, games, religion, flat earth, anything but you're in therapy. I think Steve said that was off the table.
Yeah, I have to draw a line somewhere. I mean, we have like low standards, but I don't think that if you want to debate urine therapy, if you do want to debate urine therapy, let me know because I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. Actually, that's not why he wants you to let him know, but he'll talk to you about that privately. So the way that tonight will work, the way that we're gonna tonight's gonna work. In the description, there's a place that you can go on our Discord, and the link to vote will be there in Discord. It'll be under Debate Roulette. It's a form you go in, you fill out. If you're coming from Facebook, there's a spot for you to put your Facebook URL. If you're in Discord, you'll put your Discord username, and then you will vote. And we will give the links to people who are chosen. If you come in through Discord, on Discord. If you're playing on Facebook Live, we will use it over Messenger to get that to you. So, in order to kind of cut down on the lag that we had last time, what we're going to do is we're going to spin the wheel twice for topics, and then once for each person on the wheel. We will take the person to the right of the person that is selected as a backup. So we'll get our backup topic and our two backup people, and that way we won't have to keep going back and doing that. We're going to do 2 rounds that way. Each round is a 3-minute opener to state your case and a little bit about yourself. If you have channels that you want to plug, a blog, all that stuff, you'll do that then. And then you each get 1 5-minute round. And then after the 5-minute rounds, we will open it up for a discussion, kind of like we usually do here for 10 minutes. And the audience, another thing that we're adding to be able to choose who is actually going to win this, there is a link in the description as well to vote for the winner. It will be live after the debate is over, so you can't, obviously vote as we go along. But you will vote that way, and then that person will announce at the end. The third round that we're going to do tonight in Debate Roulette, to celebrate us finally getting monetized in our super chat round, we're going to do a bidding round. So if you're interested in playing, but you don't want to go through the wheel or anything like that, we're going to do a round where you can super chat to get in. Also, during the actual debates that are going on, you can super chat us. Those will be read in the meantime between the debates while we're getting people and waiting for the timed things to go down. Cool, Steve? Understand?
That's a mouthful, yeah. By the way, the link to vote and join was not in the description. It is now. If you're not seeing it, you might have to refresh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, my bad.
But it's in there now.
That would be my fault.
We've already taken care of it. It's no problem.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. What did I put in the description then? Oh, that must have been the link to vote.
You put the vote for the winners, but not for the people that actually want to join in.
Oh, yeah, I did that on purpose because, remember, they need to be on Discord or Facebook. That's why I didn't put it in the actual description to actually vote. So, see, I knew what I was doing.
It's still there. I mean, we just have to remember. We have to let them know that they have to come onto Discord in order to do this.
Okay. Well, hopefully they'll be able to follow along with that. All right, so let's start the damn thing then. Put that beautiful wheel up there, and we've gotten a bunch of topics on here this week. A lot of them are from you guys. We asked on Twitter for people to send in their ideas for topics, and it is reflected on this week's wheel. So hopefully we can get something going. Let's give her a spin.
Now remember, who spins the reel on that one show that I want to mention the name in case there's copyright stuff, but who actually is
Vanna.
It's not Vanna. No, it's not Vanna.
I
Pat
think I have to say
Sajak
that,
spins the wheel. Vanna turns letters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's right. Well,
one of these days we'll get that right.
You know what? I'm using the alternative facts.
The alternative facts.
Defense. Okay, what do you think, Steve? What's it going to be?
But I think it's the one that I actually came up with, and it might be. Is it?
Is it?
Oh, I want this one so bad. Oh God, I quit.
Which one is it? What did it land on?
I can't read it.
Me neither.
Wait till it pops up. Oh, okay. Should the U.S. have invaded Iraq? Wow.
Okay, and let's give her another spin to get it back up. We also do reserve the right to switch the order if the second one's cooler.
Or pick one at random.
Yeah. Somebody's fapping awful slow today.
I didn't remember putting in a noise for this thing.
All right. What's it looking like? Which one did you want it to land on, Steve? Just a second ago, I didn't see it.
I wanted the Hillary. Did Hillary commit any crimes?
Oh, of course she did. She stole the election from Bernie.
Oh, that's harsh. True, but harsh. All right. Should prostitution be legalized? Well, not that I have a opinion on this particular topic. Just saying.
Let's go with this one. You want to?
I like this one better. Yeah. To be honest with you.
Okay. So
we do the other one afterwards, but let's do this one first.
Yeah, we're going to use our executive powers here to switch that order there. So we're going to go with should prostitution be legal? You now have 3 minutes to vote. When you hear hallelujah, the voting will be over. And so we will begin now. And while the clock is ticking down, go ahead, Steve.
Oh, I was just going to say, and if we can't get people to come in and be a pro and con on this one, then no way can we do it on any other topic. Come on. This is like something that you've got to have an opinion on one way or another.
And I was just going to talk about what we have coming up for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show is going to be interesting. We're going to have Mr. Atheist released a video about 3 days ago, and we showed the last part of it on the show Thursday with George Lujack and King Crocoduck, and it was the Steven Anderson is not a secret homosexual, which, by the way, Steven Anderson is not a secret homosexual. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. Right. In that video, Mr. Atheist, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something to the tune of, if your foundation is, and Steve, help me out here, you might remember, if your foundation is Christianity, it's no different than those who persecute people who are homosexual, something like that. And he's probably going to kill me because I'm tearing it up. But anyway, General Han Solo and Dr. Kenny Rhodes and Reformed Christian Apologists took issue with what he said. So they're going to be on tomorrow along with Mr. Atheist, Skylar Fiction, to talk about it. And Dr. Joshua Bowen. Dr. Joshua Bowen was originally going to have a discussion with Matt Powell, as some of you probably remember. We have since banned Matt Powell from anything to do with the show, and actually from now on he will be referred to as Brat Towel. That's what his name will be. But we have banned him because of the things that he has said on Mr. Atheist's channel, as well as the Stephen Hawking that was just... Did that piss you off, Steve?
It was way over the top. And, he's looking for attention, right? I mean, he's vying for attention. He knows these things are over the top. I don't see any reason to give him any attention. He's just basal to me. Baseline, as Casey would say, baseline.
Baseline. Right. I agree. So he won't be on the show. We won't be talking about him post tomorrow. It'll come up tomorrow because we're all interlocked with that, especially Skylar, because Skylar introduced him kind of to the this side of the community. But he's not going to be the main issue. The main issue is going to be what Mr. Atheist said in his video, and Mr. Atheist is taking a stance that he didn't say anything wrong. And so we're going to go through that and let everybody air out their grievances on that way. It'll be a big show tomorrow. Make sure you join us. That's going to be at 9 tomorrow. It won't be our usual time, 8 o'clock. Mr. Atheist has his Sunday Mass, so he can't make it until 9 o'clock. So make sure that you're here with us for a fantastic evening of all kind of arguing and yelling and dumpster fire. Cool.
Looks like we have a debate.
Excellent. Okay, this is fantastic. Remember, guys, at the end of these rounds, you will vote on who do you think did the best job, and that person will win their own entire episode discussion here on Non Sequitur this month. Okay, while they put the wheel names together, we'll spin them. And remember, the person that is selected, whoever is to their right, will be the person that is a backup in case they don't come in for whatever reason. Excellent.
We're going to get the names on the wheel, and then we're going to spin the wheel to determine who actually is the pro and cons. That while that's being done, we will be reading out the super chats in between the debates. But before we even start, we have two. So I'd like to thank people for those. One of them was a Sandring, woohoo super chats. So he was donating super chats because he's happy with their super chats. And the other one was Caitlin Chloe. She says, "Oh my God, you finally make money." Yeah, it's about time, right? Have fun, y'all. I'm studying for an exam, so I can't. She says I can stay, but I think she means can't stay if she's studying for an exam. But G said you were monetized, so I had to come by and contribute. Love y'all. Thank you, Casey.
No, Casey, thank you so much. We love you, and we love you. Who's the other person?
She's working on her master's or something, isn't she?
She is. And she's very smart. Not only is she our truth hammer here, but she's very super smart, and I love her attitude. So,
and we also got one more: fostering atheism. Congratulations on your monetization, well deserved. Yay! Yeah, you know, YouTube's. Awesome. I couldn't believe how long it took them. I was stunned how long that process took.
But you know what it was? I finally think that it was YouTube's way of telling us never to have George Lujack on, because as soon as the George Lujack debate ended, I went to refresh the YouTube page, and the little bar came down that said, "You have been monetized by YouTube." So I took that as a sign.
Of course, they automatically demonetized how many of our videos right out of the gate?
About half of them. But you know what? I asked Steve when he said that. Was that surprising to you? Was that surprising to you?
No, but I mean, but we have a lot of them already. They've already looked at, and they're slowly coming around and realizing they're pretty user friendly.
The 4 that I put in for got monetized. They approved those, and that was the R and Ron Kenthoven, which is weird because we had those 2 days back to back where we had the day that Kenthoven did not come on the show because he had those whatever issues. So it was the next day that he came and actually had the discussion. Okay. So I have in the title, it's almost identical, but the first one said rescheduled. The actual discussion didn't have rescheduled in the title, but the same title. The rescheduled one got monetized. The other one did not. So I think that's kind of weird.
Yeah. All right, let's go what we got here?
Let's see these whores who believe that prostitution should be legal. Okay.
Now, you know what's funny is not a name on here doesn't surprise me.
You moralless individuals, you.
Yes.
Let's give her a spin.
Shocking for none of these names. Hell, these people might want to argue that it should be mandatory.
Oh. Okay.
Except I don't remember this one. Who's that guy?
Here we go.
I don't know who he is. Oh, no, it's going to be a Sandring, I think.
Cool.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah.
Sandring. Okay. Awesome. And
I
the
believe we
person
only had
to
one no.
who's the person to the right? 2 Scoop. Okay.
Yeah, no,
so who's the person? Dave, who's the person to the right of the Sandring? I can't see. Lucavino.
Musarino? I think I don't know how to pronounce his name.
So Lucavino, go ahead to Discord just in case. And we only have one no, so that's going to be simple. We don't even have to spin a wheel for that. So excellent. Okay, so let's pull back to the main screen. There we go. And we will wait for them to come in. Now, if you notice on your screen, the person to, or what you're looking at, so it'll be your left, is going to be the person that's saying we should allow prostitution. And then obviously, the person on the right will be the negative. Yeah, Steve's top. That's the first time that sentence has ever been said. Yeah, you can. I think they get it, Steve. I think they get it. You're muted as well. Still muted. We can't hear you.
They keep moving us around. I like being on that side, and you like being on this side. And yet today I'm over here, and you're over there. I think it's just to keep people disoriented.
I like keeping them guessing too.
Yeah.
So in case you didn't know in case you didn't know, well, no. I'm not even. I'm not. Yeah, it's too early for me to go into that, but later on we will. All right. So, who is the person that is in the negative on this? What is that name? Bent Softly. I need to know the origin. I want to know the origination of that name. So, Steve, while we wait on them to come in, let's talk about the Befriended Forever debate. That's certainly a thing that is catching some. Go ahead.
Before we do that, let me read one more super chat because Jamie gave us a super chat for 100. Thank you, Jamie, for that. He's right on this too. So, just wanted to leave this to remind everyone that George Lujak retired from the New York Police Department. He was not fired. Not. Okay, actually, it's because the show made 1 million views, which we did. So we will be having some kind of party for 10,000 sub and 1 million views coming up at some point. We are working on it. But thank you, Jamie, for that. But anyway, so it's a Friended Forever. Look, I actually get along with the guy. I know a lot of people don't. Yeah, it's a big community. It is what it is. His core arguments, I think, are decent, but he goes off the rails and his conclusions are just don't follow from the premises. And that's where I think he makes his mistake. But he's quite a character, though.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Oh, things are looking up today. No issues.
Might actually happen.
We might actually get our dumpster fire. Not on this round, because I think this is going to be an actual.
Oh, not on this round. You don't want a dumpster fire in this one?
Oh, well, I like you though.
Do what you do.
So I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it would be kind of weird, you know. That would.
I like you too, but I say let it burn.
Okay, so Bent Softly is what is that? What was that noise?
That's HAL 9000.
Oh.
Yeah, bear with me. There may be a truck or two that drives by me, so.
Okay. Are you hauling another?
Once I want to make sure.
No, I'm driving down.
Doing this. Okay.
No, I'm driving down the highway. We got to make this interesting.
Really?
I like it.
No. None that I could find.
It's called now.
I've got it hands free. Yeah, I've got it hands free.
Road roulette. I like it. If you all of a sudden stop talking, we'll know what happened.
Yeah, Wyoming Wi-Fi will have cut out. Wyoming's a little behind everybody else, I think.
That's an oxymoron.
I know. I'm shocked.
What is there, like 3 people in Wyoming?
Actually, I think there's almost 500,000.
Stop the madness. There's one state
I
where
know.
cows populate the people.
That Wyoming. Wyoming's known for its beef cattle, so
There we
that
go.
and its energy sector is the only 2 things really out here in Wyoming. Hunting. I grew
would
up
go
here,
crazy,
so
I think.
I get to make fun of it.
Oh, did you? Cool.
Yeah, I
have
grew up
a
in Lander, Wyoming.
I had a chiropractor that was from Wyoming, and he used to say that, or he would always go back in the wintertime to hunt, but he said literally you could have a house and there would be 100 miles between another house.
Yeah, you can do that.
That's wild to think about, I think.
My uncle's ranch, the nearest neighbor was 5 miles down the road.
That's not bad. Ben Softly, are you with us?
We have another super chat if we can squeeze it in real quick, because I don't think he's ready yet for 2 scoop. Mr. Atheist, my position, you may not be causing as much harm to other groups, but if your foundation is faith, as an all-theist, then you are perpetuating the idea that faith is reasonable. Is a reasonable foundation. There you go.
Perfect. Thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, he just sent me a message saying the way that you said it made me sound like a dick. I told you though, Jimmy, I would screw it up. I'll make it up to you later, I promise. Okay, are we ready for Bent Softly?
Yes, I think he's in here now.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, gentlemen, just to reiterate, we're going to put 3 minutes on the clock first. You have 3 minutes to introduce yourself, plug anything that you want to, and then state your case and your position. After that, we will have a 5-minute round. The 5-minute round will be your chance to rebut the other person or to add anything extra to what you said in the first round. And then we will have a 10-minute discussion where you'll have a back and forth. The only thing with that is that we ask that you do not talk over each other. We will give you, well, I can't really say we'll give you all the time that you need. I'm so used to saying that in our regular discussions, but we can't give you all the time that you need. We can only give you 10 minutes, but we will try to make sure the other person doesn't walk all over you. That's for the audience's sake, so they don't hear garbled shit on their end. Good deal?
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll start with the person taking the pro. And Sandring, that would be you, sir. And whenever you're
I got a
ready.
question.
Oh, sure.
Go with your question.
Yeah. Can you guys hear anything in the background?
No.
Nope.
I can't.
Should we?
Well, very loud people in the living room, so.
It's the
Oh, no,
brothel
we
down the
can't.
street.
I can't hear you. Oh, cool.
All right then.
All right, Sam, whenever you're ready.
All right. Sandring, I don't really have anything special to plug. I just drive across the country bringing you all your shit. So the next time you're pissed off at a truck driver and you don't think that they should be on the road, stop buying shit and your problems will be solved. So I drive all over the country, and one of the places that I've gone is Nevada. There's 2 counties in Nevada where prostitution is legal, at least 2. So I've seen how it actually works, not firsthand, although they do offer lots of cool free stuff to truck drivers driving down the road. So just talking with different people, the first issue that I have is it's your own body. You should be able to choose what you want to do with it. And if it's a private transaction between 2 people that are agreeing, I don't see why the government should have any say in it whatsoever. It's just simple freedom. I don't think I would personally want to participate, but I see all of the regulations that are in effect in the places where it is legal, and it just seems to work really, really well. You know, you don't have to worry about meeting in shady areas. You don't have to worry about, illegal drugs, because generally you don't want to lose your license to have your own small business. So it works really well in the places where it's actually been implemented. I don't think anybody has the right to tell you what you can or cannot sell of yourself. And we've also seen that prohibition doesn't generally work. I mean, we really have 2 options. It's either legal or it's not. When it's legal, it works well. When it's not legal, you start running into a lot of criminality surrounding it. You start giving people lots of criminal charges and a criminal history, which makes it harder for them to decide to do something else. You end up with a lot of pimps that aren't necessarily great in as far as taking care of the people. It's just real shady when it goes underground. There's no way to make sure that things are happening on the up and up, and there's a lot of crime associated with prostitution, illegal prostitution, that you don't see that in Nevada. They are happy. The state ensures that they're healthy, and I don't really see any other issues with it. It's your body. If you want to sell it for money, you should be able to. I don't really have anything else.
Okay. Perfect. That's another thing too, guys. If you don't use up all the time in these rounds, that's totally fine. Just let me know and we'll kick it over to the next person. No big deal. All right, Bent Softly.
Hey.
You're up, sir.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
So, I personally think that it's nice to say that it's your body and you can do whatever you want with it, inducing some kind of concept behind the constitutional rights of. I get that, but there needs to be like a more in-depth look at this particular subject, and when you look into it, right? So a lot of things that you can actually have a lot of wrong things or bad things that comes about when you're having sexual intercourse. Okay, for instance, a lot of things like HIV, AIDS, all these stuff that is supposedly we are still struggling today, and that's actually a really huge problem. And with these little issues, well, they're actually really huge issues, by the way. How do we expect that just somebody going out there and trying to start what is it called, maybe a brothel house or some prostitution house or a hotel, until we actually, what I'm saying is until we actually have certain way to actually mitigate this as much as possible. We do have some mitigation, but we're not saying that, but it's not a demonstration show way to say that it's completely at a very low end of the scale where we can actually implement sexuality at this level, where it would be legalized to a certain extent, where people wouldn't be actually harmed in any way possible. That's about it.
Okay. All right. Now we will switch over to the 5-minute rounds. Again, if you feel like you have gotten what you needed to say out of the way, just let me know and we will switch over to the next person. Hi, Sandrine, whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, you talked about worrying about STDs, and those would definitely be a potential issue, which I believe are mitigated quite well in the places where it is legal. They are tested. There is requirement for testing and have certification. Much like your licenses, they're right there on the wall. The last date you were certified. We have a very good model for how this works legally. You set up a brothel, it's a business, it's taxed as a business, the income is taxed. All of the people working in a brothel are either employees or ones that I've seen were all self-employed, so they did their own taxes. Look at the amount of money that we spend on enforcement of prostitution. Taking people to jail, booking them in, caring for them while they're in jail. That's a hell of an expense. And when you legalize it, it allows people to build businesses, and you get tax revenue from it. Instead of paying money, you're gaining money. It's not difficult to put certain requirements in place, which are in place in the places where it's legal. I don't see any health concerns or issues, at least not above and beyond any other activities that are legal. You jump out of an airplane, well, you run the risk of your chute not opening and plummeting to your death. Cigarettes are still legal. Alcohol is still legal. Arguably alcohol destroys more lives than prostitution or their STDs do. I see a very good model for how it works. And again, I'm somebody who's a proponent for maximum freedom. I don't see what business the government has in telling two willing participants what they can or cannot do when they're engaged with each other. I mean, we should have the freedom of association. I mean, I don't have anything other than that. I have yet to hear anything that would, contradict any of those things.
Okay. Ben Softly, next 5 minutes is for you.
So basically, somehow actually taxing these things is actually one way to obviously gain money. But the point is that still, when you say that something.
You're okay. Take your time.
Actually, professional, but I actually have to go.
Oh, you gotta go?
What time is it?
Ben, are you still with us?
Looks like he had to
Did we
go.
lose Ben? Okay.
Yeah.
While,
All right, well,
while we're at it, I could
I get-
pan around and show all of the lot lizards that are running around illegally doing prostitution instead. See if that's a much better way of doing things.
I think
Do you
you,
know
I think
that-
you win by default.
Yeah, I think you win by default, so we're not even gonna have the audience kind of vote. But let me tell you a story. I didn't know what a lot lizard was when I was a kid. It wasn't until we were doing cross country, drive with my dad, and my dad kept pointing out every time like a lady would get out of a truck and go to the next truck, and I was like, "What are they doing?" And he's like, "That's lot lizards." I'm like, "What the hell is that?" I couldn't really conceptualize as a kid what was going on. Now I know.
Just sounds.
Well, picture this. This I've actually seen. There are lot lizards today. You don't see them quite as much. It's really, the truck stops have really pushed back against this. So they've been pushed farther back into the shadows. But down in California, Fontana, there's 2 truck stops down there parked in one of there. There was 2 ladies walking around, and I watched one of them literally get into 4 trucks, one after the other. And just think of that for a little while and think of how hygienic that would be. And this is what
I'll have to
illegalizing
pass.
things. Yeah, this is what illegalizing things do. I have been in Nevada where there's legalized prostitution. You go to a brothel, I get free coffee, I get a free meal, I get a free shower, and I get to look at beautiful eye candy in most instances.
Well, coffee. Why didn't you say so?
Now, I know. Coffee. Well, that's what I did. There's one point where I was dead broke and literally couldn't even afford coffee. So I would pull into those anytime I could to get free coffee and a free meal. They're very clean. They're very professional. They're tested. We have a good model for how this works and works well.
Before we wrap this up and we go to the next thing, I just want a quick question to ask you, because on the whole prostitution things, on the sovereignty of your own body, what do you think about people that want to sell their own body parts for the same reason? Should they be allowed to say, hey, I want to not just donate a kidney for money, but I'm going to, give up a couple my legs or something else? Should they be able to donate, sell their body that way, like literally sell body parts?
I would say that you should be able to. However, you would need to undergo a psychological evaluation to ensure that you're not self-harm. You're not self-harming.
Now it becomes a business, and now there's value attached to it, and that.
I think if you want to give
dangerous.
up your leg, though, we can save you the trip to the psych doctor. I think if you want to give up your leg.
Well, I don't see what giving up your leg would really accomplish.
Nothing except hopping around. But anyway, you win by default, sir. So we don't even need to have the audience vote. So congratulations, Isandring. We're going to go now to the next topic. But thank you for coming in and apparently answering the question: should prostitution be legal? Congrats.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
Be safe on the road.
Drive sideways.
And no lot lizards.
Yeah, no lot lizards.
Aw.
I won.
Okay, we're gonna throw back up that topic wheel and see if we can't get us another one in now. I guess I should say, if you feel like you possibly can't finish the 20-minute round, please don't enter as well. Or do you think it was just a case of he didn't really have an argument?
Yeah,
Oh, really,
I
Steve?
think it was probably more of that. Yeah, I think it's probably the case that these things are not easy topics, and it's hard to come in unprepared on a topic that you haven't really researched. I mean, it's difficult to do. So I mean, if that happens, that's fine. But maybe he did have to go. I don't know.
All right. It looks like we're going to have one. Maybe. Okay. What do we have here?
Did ancient civilizations predate recorded history?
Oh, sweet. Okay, let's get a backup topic.
That's a Kyle topic.
That is. Give her another spin and get a backup or a main, depending on how good it is. Don't you notice, Steve, that it's fapping awful slow today? Last week fapper. it was like supersonic. Yeah. I guess you have some days like that.
Nice and slow. Why rush?
Yeah. We should probably play some R. Kelly or something while this wheel spins.
Screw that. Guess with Skrillex. Oh,
Skrillex is not nice and slow.
I like Skrillex.
I do too.
Was Hillary guilty of any crime? Yes.
Okay, it looks like we'll go with that one then. Was Hillary guilty of a crime? So that will be the main topic. That will be the topic that you're voting on. Was Hillary guilty of a crime? The backup will be, was there a civilization that existed before recorded history? Which, speaking of, by the way, for the most part, I think that as weird as it got, and people liked last night's show, although I will say that I only subscribed to the idea that there was a civilization prior to recorded history. I do not subscribe to the electric obelisk or aliens or anything like that. Please do not mistake my positions on that.
Yeah, no, I wasn't attributing that to you. I thought that was kind of funny, but I was like, oh no, okay, Kyle doesn't buy into the whole alien obelisk Wi-Fi.
No,
I don't even know what that even entails.
I do not, sir. I do not. I only subscribe that there was a civilization that existed that were smarter and able to do more things than we give them credit for now. That is where I draw the line. I do not think that. I don't even think that there was. I don't even know if I subscribe to the technology aspect of it. Like I know it's weird that that everything is like flat level to a T, and there are cuts that seem impossible, but I don't know how they did it, and I'm not going to guess.
So I don't really buy into any of it. None of it. I think that it's all explainable. I just think that they were very technologically,
Well, I'm interested then. Tell me how
civilizations, but they had cutting tools. They understood how things were put together. I mean, they've demonstrated how they raised the obelisks. They've demonstrated how they moved things. I mean, there's nothing they did that's unexplainable. It's just it took a lot of manpower.
I agree with you on the movie.
Stuff.
I agree with you on the movie. It's the cutting thing because the only thing that you could cut granite with is diamond.
No, they used dulcimite.
They were using copper and there's one other material that they're using, but those are the only kind of tools that they've found. Maybe lasers. You know what?
It had to be lasers.
Maybe it was I was getting ready to say maybe it was the aliens had the diamond crusted saw blades and they took them back with them when they left, and that's why you don't find
diamond
anything.
Tipped.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Always
have a debate.
Aliens. Beautiful.
All right,
this one shouldn't get.
Pros, we have some cons.
This could be the dumpster fire.
We can hope.
This could be the dumpster fire.
So, do we have the names on the wheels to figure out who's going to be pro?
And they still have time to. They still have time to vote. They have 55 seconds left. If you watch the clock, Steve.
Hurry up, people.
Well, either way, they still have 42.
I guess we should read the last any other super chats because I saw one come in. So Pragmatic Culture gave us super chat. First, congrats on being monetized, guys. Second, counterpoint to Mr. Atheist. Christian faith is based in reason, aka philosophical reasoning. Oh, they might have their own debate going back and forth in the super
Uh-oh.
chats.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Shots fired. Which,
Bring
by the
it,
way,
mystery.
that's not pregnant. I can't remember if that's Pragmatic who keeps reminding me that we're supposed to have another gun debate on Twitter, or if it's Agnotheist.
All right.
All right. So we've got a debate. By the way, if you are not following us on Twitter, you should be. That's where we put a lot of the polls, and you can see the various arguments that we get into on a daily basis, because at some point, either Steve or myself is arguing with somebody at all times. And we cover a wide range of things, from religion to politics to even the direction in which I'm holding my camera to record my cute little pug, Archie, and posting it on Twitter. Literally, that was a thing. Somebody got upset that I didn't turn my phone long ways. So if that is you, if you would do something like that, fuck you. Don't follow us. But for everybody else, please follow us at NonSec Show. That's NonSeq Show. And keep up with us that way. All right, so it looks like we do have a debate. They're getting the names on the wheels right now. And after the debate is over, remember that you guys will be voting on who will be having their own episode with us. That particular person will get to choose the topic of the discussion, and we will match them with somebody who has the opposite view they do, and we'll have us one of our infamous discussions here on NonSequitur.
Just FYI, somebody gave us $2 in super chat, but I'm not sure who it was. I'm trying to figure it out, but I don't know. So if you did that, please let us know. But we also got 2 more super chats. Ashley donated, and she says, "Hey guys, first time tuning in, but loving it so far. Congrats on the monetization and 10,000 subs. You guys are awesome. First time here, we're already awesome. That's cool. I like.
Thank
to hear
you,
that.
Ashley.
Yeah.
We promise you that
Ashley.
after you see a couple of our shows, you might not think that way, but just keep in mind this moment right here, this moment where you thought we were awesome, and don't mind
the one time, yeah.
Avoid the names Lou Jack and Hovend. Don't watch anything with their names in it, but you should be okay with. Oh, and Flat Earth. Avoid those as well. Everything else you'll be fine with, I think.
Those are our highest rated shows, by the way, so go watch them. Wilco, 1985. Love the show, gentlemen. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's Wilco's $2 super chat. Well, no, Streamlabs. There's somebody in Streamlabs. But anyways, thank you guys. Let us know how you feel after the show's done, if you still want to continue watching.
We always, all right, the people are voting in the affirmative that Hillary Clinton did commit a crime.
Interesting.
Lock her up. Lock her up.
Drain this swamp.
All right. Let's get to
What we
fapping.
got here? Still a slow fap.
Anybody we recognize?
Couple names.
What do we got?
One.
What do we got?
It's coming up. Still going. Could be Musavano. Wasn't that that other guy? No, he wasn't. Pragmatic Culture? Could it be Pragmatic Culture? I think it is.
Uh-oh.
It is Pragmatic Culture. Nope. Wait. Nope. It is. Oh my God! Stop. Pragmatic Culture.
And who is the person to the right of Pragmatic Culture?
Maravino.
All right, Maravino, you can head to the Discord now as well, just in case. Pragmatic Culture, you are up, sir. All right. Now we will spin the. Okay, Mr. Atheist. Oh, awesome. Mr. Atheist will be here. Wait a minute. Aren't these the two that were just going at it? Like, didn't Pragmatic Culture just do a response to Mr. Atheist?
I think he did. Yeah, this could get interesting here.
Maybe we should just forego the Hillary topic then, since they're here, and let's just have Pragmatic Culture answer his.
Are we calling it audible?
I think we should. I think we should do this. You know what? That'd be a really good idea, actually. Do around so each debate roulette. If you have a grievance with somebody, you can come on and air it. Oh, we have something new. Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah, but then S.J. Thomason would be here every show. Hi, S.J.
Jimmy, you just sent the link back to me. That's the link you're supposed to click again. There we go.
Look who's here.
Hi, Jimmy.
How do I change my camera though?
Yeah, we're looking up your nose here, dude.
Yeah. And I've got a different camera ready, but for some reason it's popping you on this one. Let me try and manually set this thing.
Everyone, this is where Jimmy and I first met, right on this show.
Yeah, it sure is.
Sorry that I screwed up your position earlier, but I gave a disclaimer beforehand.
Before we jump in, before everybody hates me, can I clarify my position on the Hillary Clinton thing since we're changing the topic?
No,
dude, I can't fix this camera thing. You said no. Fuck you, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Hillary who?
Yeah. I don't know who that individual is. I'm still gonna at some point. I'm gonna sneak it in. You'll see.
I think you might have to disable your camera on the thing that you're using, Jimmy, and then
it's built into this device is the only problem. But what's weird is I've actually done this successfully before. But what I'm gonna do is just prop it up so it's slightly better, and y'all can
you go.
Fuck it.
There you go. It'll be normal now.
It's a normal enough. There you are. Over here.
So yes,
Pragmatic Culture and I have debated before. We debated on your show. We debated whatever the last proposition I debated was, which was
this is beautiful.
Something about heroin. What was our proposition, Pragmatic? Do you remember?
It was.
I think it had something to do with can there be good without God? I think it was something along those lines.
Yeah.
So
right.
Timmy,
Okay.
Take a couple minutes and go ahead and clarify your position on Hillary Clinton and
Hillary Clinton. Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so this is kind of like the time that I think everyone was surprised to see that I had a position that was pro school prayer, which there was nuance to that as well. I keep forgetting you're down here and trying to look at my other camera. There was nuance to that as well, which was the idea of I'm fine with prayer clubs, even if resources are given to those prayer clubs, blah, 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 blah. And it's similar to that. In fact, I'd say I have the exact same position on Hillary Clinton that I have on Donald Trump. While I suspect both of doing things that were wrong, while there are things that clearly were wrong, I'm not ready to say that Donald Trump is working for the Russians because there is a PP tape. Again, that position is Donald Trump is not working for the Russians because there is a PP tape. I'll say it one more time. Donald Trump is absolutely not working for the Russians because of a PP tape. Now, Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I know. Hillary Clinton, I have seen all of the reports. I've actually worked in relevant areas as well, and I see the conclusions that have come from really a lot of investigations as apparently reasonable, and so I'm not ready to make the statement that Hillary Clinton has committed any crime. However, I will say this. Hillary Clinton was held to a very much lower standard than we hold many people in government and in the military and where people lose their jobs. Not always are they court-martialed or go to jail or anything like that. Well, perhaps court, but they aren't always guilty of a crime, but certainly guilty of negligence that makes them a person you would want to be concerned about in that position. Again, I'm not going to take that any further than that, but to say that with all of those investigations and the fact that we've now had almost 2 years of a Trump presidency, the fact that they haven't been able to successfully rile up charges either says the Illuminati is way more real and successful than I ever suspected, or it is possible that there is no crime here. I just am not going to take the position that she did commit any crimes. I'd be slightly less than agnostic.
Okay. By the way, don't worry about your the position of your camera, people are just seeing you now how I usually do when we get together. So nothing wrong with that. Okay, so
it's more that angle.
we got the Hillary thing out of the way. So let's go to
Well, Pragmatic
something
wants to
I think
reply to that.
he doesn't want to reply. He wants to get on with the actual juice of the.
He wants a piece of you for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good.
I'm
Because
gonna
I don't
let-
think there's a chance, even if I was more correct, I don't think there is a chance that I would win based on public opinion, the vote. So
that's just
maybe
true.
I
I
can
think,
with
I think
this.
she mishandled classified information, and that is a crime. So that's my stance.
I think, Mr. Atheist, that you need to state your position again that you said in the video. Go ahead and make the statement that you made. Actually, we'll let you go first. Okay. So when the clock starts, you can say what you said in the video and then back it up. Also plug your channel where people can find you, all that kind of stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
My name is Mr. Atheist. You might have seen my show, Dear Mr. Atheist, or Sunday Mass, but Dear Mr. Atheist is our main show. And this last week, I did a video responding to something that Brat Towel, I think we said we were going to call him from now on, that Brat Towel had said. He had left a comment asking me if I was, as far as I can tell, he was asking me if I was the superhero faggot man, because otherwise he didn't use a comma to really ask his question correctly. As I was talking about it, I talked about this idea of radical religiosity and how bad and harmful it is, and basically said I don't let liberal religious people, liberal theists, or mildly religious people off the hook if they still have a faith-based claim, which I argue that all theists do. Basically, I'm not saying that you have committed the crimes of ISIS. I'm not saying that you've committed the crimes of the Westboro Baptist Church. What I am saying is that all theistic positions, as far as I can see, require a foundation and an absolute foundation of faith. And certainly the Quran calls for that. The Bible calls for that. They set that up as the thing. So if you have a foundation of faith and you cannot otherwise independently show good reason to validate your religion, because faith can frankly be used to support anything, then you are perpetuating the idea that faith is a reasonable foundation. And if it is not, as I contend it is not, and if it is not for all of these belief claims a reasonable foundation, then any individual who engages in it is propping up and supporting all faith-based beliefs at least their foundational level, saying that starting here is an acceptable way to start. Again, I'm not saying that gives anybody equal guilt for the crimes of ISIS, but I am saying that a world without faith takes down all of those terrible ideologies and creates a more reasonable, logical population. I think that's all. I don't need the last 50 seconds. Except for actually, let me add one more thing. Steven Anderson is not a secret homosexual.
That's very important to let everybody know, I think. Remember, guys, Steven Anderson is not, he said not a secret homosexual. Cool.
No,
Pragmatic
right.
culture,
He
what
is
would you
not.
say about... Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, I just want to make sure that I'm telling everybody that Steven Anderson is not a secret homosexual.
Pragmatic culture, do you have anything to add
Let
there?
us know.
I am unaware of who this Steven Anderson fellow is, but I imagine he is not a secret homosexual. So I guess that's it.
Well, hey, that's all you need to know.
That's good enough.
That's all,
Yeah.
all right,
No,
pragmatic culture, welcome back. And whenever you see the clock start, it'll be all you.
All right. I think what I'm in the Discord, so I can actually see the clock. But I think what we have here is a misunderstanding, somewhat, of what Christians mean by faith, because a lot of times it's asserted it's simply blind faith, which leads certain people to believe, and I don't think that's true for at least most people. Most people don't take faith alone. I do think most people are at heart quite reasonable, and blind faith is something that pretty much nobody has. And so what people in the Christian faith have is not simply faith in that sense, but faith based on reasonable assumptions and reasonable guesses. And that comes from the testimony of people they believe to be more knowledgeable than them on the subject, For example, as a Catholic, I'm a big fan of what Thomas Aquinas has done, and I appreciate the work he did philosophically, and I think that's a reasonable basis for my faith. And I think there are other similar testimonials. You can go look at Saint Anselm, I think Saint Anselm of Canterbury it was, and people like Descartes or several others throughout the ages who have talked about the relationship to the supernatural with the natural and things like that. And so it's not so much just a leap on which we're basing it. It's more so a series of reasonings that we got there that are based in more abstract thought than empirical. And I do think that blind faith is somewhat of a problem because I don't think, like you said, it leads people to do insane things. And the people who do actually take blind faith as enough are really just, they're going to do a lot more harm than good anyway. So I do think we should eliminate blind faith, but I don't think reasonable faith based on some evidence is necessarily a bad thing. And I'll be good. I can't see the timer, so sorry.
Okay. You have 56 seconds left. Do you want to? All right. Mr. Atheist.
Plug my channel.
We have
Just kidding. Can we just skip to the back and forth? I don't see a benefit.
Sure.
And can we just do the whole thing as a back and forth? Are you cool with that, Pragmatic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Sweet.
Let's do it.
Let me know when you want me to get going.
You can go. Well, I don't want you to go anytime, Jimmy. Never leave. But you can go whenever you're ready.
I thought maybe you'd have a new timer or something up that you wanted to use, but whatever. So using the phrase reasonable faith is a bit like using the word free slavery. They are things that are in contrast. Now, I will tell you, I agree. Fuck, I'm looking at the wrong camera again. I agree with a lot of what you were saying, that there isn't only faith that lead people to those conclusions. However, it does start with faith every time, and that is why those conclusions are made, because of systems of what we know to be confirmation bias that prop those beliefs up. So, for example, I'm not going to make it's, and I get this a lot, and I'm not going to get angry at you like I got angry at whatever his name is, the guy that came in on Steve's show to debate the point I made. Okay, Rob. Because I do get annoyed when people use these old tired sort of anecdotes of, you have faith in science and that kind of bullshit. In my DMs, he accused me of like, oh, he didn't directly, but he suggested that maybe I lost my faith because I had a bad experience in Mormonism. So first of all, I am an individual who had a lot of faith at one time. I know the distinction firsthand between faith and reason, and they aren't the same thing. So regardless of if you can go, well, this pointed to this pointed to this, and none of those are faith, we can always ask more and more questions for any position you take, and it will eventually end up as the absolute foundation is faith. And that is the point I am making. If your foundation is faith, you perpetuate all faith foundations, period.
Okay.
So you're allowed to reply as much as you want. Yeah.
Yeah, no, what I would say to that is at some point when you're going down the line of what you're basing things on, eventually you're going to come to some sort of axiomatic a priori stance on which you base things. In other words, to put it vulgarly, you would come to essentially at some point a faith-based position of some sort. I mean, say we didn't have Principia Mathematica, which lays out these complex proofs for like really simple math. Like, would it be wrong to take the a priori assumption that 1 + 1 = 2 necessarily? And I mean, I know this is sort of stretching it just a little bit, but at some point we do make
it's beyond stretching. If I can reply, because I'm going to have to ask for a definition here. It's beyond stretching. It's actually part of what I get so tired of as an atheist, being accused of arrogance, because basically whenever you bring up this idea, the theistic side likes to come up with this claim that, yeah, well, at some point you have faith too, which we can argue about whether or not that is true, but it's because we both know that it is unreasonable, and so they want to come up with the conclusion of, well, you're just as unreasonable as I am. What's arrogant about it is that usually you even get back to the questions of, okay, that's usually they go back to these questions of like, well, how do you even know we exist? We get into solipsism and that sort of thing, which is an arrogant implication of either I am right or now we should question all of reality. And so we don't have a good answer for that. However, we seem to all exist in some common existence, and there seems to be things that are verifiable on a level that doesn't require something like God works in mysterious ways, to where we are confirming all the good and the bad as somehow the good hand of God simultaneously. So my question for you to answer now, because terminology is important, would be a clear definition of faith.
So faith is something I think there are degrees of. I think when you have faith, it's something you don't necessarily have firsthand proof of to believe. And so what I would say is that you don't necessarily, we as individuals, as we are not physicists, do not have quote unquote proof that the atom is there. I believe it exists. I'm sure you believe it exists, but that is because other people have gone out and found the proof for it, and we take their word for it. So we take their word on some level of faith that they have discovered the atom. And that's,
give me a different example, because we
like,
have proven the existence of the
there's
atom.
degrees to faith.
Give me a different example, because we've proven we have proven the existence of the atom, including imaging it under electron microscope. So go ahead and give a different example that I can wrap my head around that is faith, since we have a proof of that.
Well, we do have proof of it, but you have faith in that proof to some extent. You have faith that the people coming up with it are using reliable methods. You have faith that what you're being told is actually the truth, and you're not just being fed some government conspiracy.
No, not at all.
Like, we have
Let's go ahead and
testimony of others and stuff like that.
Stick to the first question then. What is faith? Because I 100% disagree with you. I think you are doing, and there's a video I actually did on Mormonism called, the thumbnail says Mormons lie about faith, and it's something to do, it's episode 4 of the What's Wrong with Mormonism thing. And I fear that you are doing what they are doing, which is you are using faith one way in Sunday school, and then you are bringing faith to me, and you are using them interchangeably. And not only is it wrong, it's dishonest, because with enough investigation, self-investigation, you would actually be able to see how dishonest that is. So I would like a clear definition from you, not, well, there's degrees of faith, because there really isn't. When we are talking about in the theistic sense, what is faith? You're welcome to take the Google. I'll look it up for you. Yeah, when we are having a theistic discussion, so we are going to be, because you and I are both intelligent, and you already know I like you, we are going to elevate the discourse. We're going to elevate the language by using consistent terms, since they are related directly to the topic. So the first thing we need to do is you and I agree on a definition for faith. I'm going to pull it up on Google. I think I actually know it word for word, but if you want, we can use that one.
Right.
What's that?
You asked for faith in the theistic sense, right?
In the sense of what we are discussing, absolutely. I'm not asking you about colloquial faith, like the I have faith in you to not be a dickbag, because from my experience so far, you're not a dickbag. You probably have faith for me to be a dickbag, because if you watched any of my stuff, I am a dickbag. That is not the definition of faith I'm looking for.
No. Yeah. Okay. So the more obvious example, what I would say is, as a Christian, I have faith that Jesus raised Lazarus from the grave. I have absolutely zero proof of this. I have nothing to go on other than the testimonial of the people who were there and the people who recorded that testimonial through the ages, but I still believe it. In that sense, that is what I mean by faith.
Okay, so can we go with, and this is the literal definition is given by Google. Strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion rather, based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof.
Okay, so I guess I disagree with the Google definition there, because I think
that means you disagree with centuries of precedent.
Well, see, I'm hesitant to use the word, not hesitant, but I'm questioning what they mean by proof, because what I would posit as proof in the sense of logic and philosophy, I think is different than what they're thinking of proof, because I think what they're using in terms of proof is something along the lines of empirical, verifiable, physical truth, which isn't how you go about proving the existence of God or anything metaphysical in general.
Okay, so that's good and it's revealing. I'm going to stick to always using that, as I called it, historically precedented definition. However, so I want to talk about now this thing you've said, which is you have faith that Lazarus raised from the dead. Now, obviously, you haven't witnessed it. You might even have what you consider evidence of the existence of Jesus as a literal historical being. You don't have any, and you may consider those evidence good enough. I actually don't. I don't take the mythicist position. I would say on the mythicist position, I am currently agnostic because both sides make a lot of good points. As far as you have that faith belief that this individual, I won't even go with existed. I'll give you that you might be able to believe historically without faith, even if I don't. However, the claim that he raised Lazarus from the dead, and by the way, not just Lazarus, also as he was resurrected, many Jews, I believe the term is many, and then people who analyze the text, I'm pretty sure put that number in the hundreds to thousands. Many Jews, but we'll go with five other Jews all got up from their graves and greeted their family in the flesh and ready to go. And not a one of them wrote about it. So what is the basis you have that is more valid than, for example, a member of ISIS who believes that Muhammad flew away on a winged horse and split the moon in two? And historically, we have much more to go off of that Muhammad actually did exist as a historical character. So I'll give you both that it's historical character. What outside of faith, or that it feels better, would you say exists to show your point of view there more valid than theirs? I'm sorry for how long that question was. I'll shut up for a good 2 minutes.
Well, I want to just get an understanding of it first. So you're asking me to compare the supposedly actual happenings of Lazarus rising from the grave to the supposed actual happenings of Muhammad rising off into a chariot and splitting the moon into two?
Yeah, and I shouldn't have. Maybe it was irresponsible of me to go with ISIS, because we could just go with a Muslim who accepts the claims.
Well, I don't care.
I don't necessarily need to make that equivocation yet.
No, I think it's, well, for one, we can look up to the sky and we can see the moon is still in one piece, but I don't know if there's supposedly something else that Muhammad did with the other half of the moon, and we're only looking at one half of the moon when we look in the sky now.
Yeah, that's not bugging 1 billion. That's not bugging 1 billion Muslims who can see the moon. So certainly they seem to think that it was somehow re-put together.
Yeah, so well, that's one. And two, I would say, honestly, I don't necessarily. It's not a matter of whatchamacallit, having more or less faith in either event, but more the surrounding context of each. Like I have more proof, I would say, for the historicity of what actually happened in the Gospels, certain events at least, than the certain miracles that happened under Muhammad. Of course, you could compare miraculous claims and such like that. But I think there's a greater context in the Bible about events that surround it and things that happened in it, which have more historical evidence than certain things that happened during Muhammad's life, other than like the military conquests and such, which we know happened and things like that.
Do you acknowledge that if I was sitting here with a Muslim, all they would do is restate your exact argument to me, switching the name Jesus for Muhammad, and there would be no difference into my response to you?
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure they would. It would come down to a historical debate, undoubtedly, and I think it would be. But more importantly, I think it would come down to a debate of why each religion is right in a much more broader sense. Not right necessarily in terms of morals, but which is more correct from a sense of philosophical standing. Because I think that's what religions are mainly positing. Like, I think there are only very specific books in the Bible that claim to be historical books, and there are only very specific books that claim to give exact documentation of certain events. Like, the Bible isn't meant to be necessarily a historical book. It's meant to be somewhat of a moral philosophical
text. When it
and so while I
with
certain
Christians' views.
Sorry?
So this is another problem, and this is something we won't have time. We have a minute and a half left. But whenever people say it's not meant to be historical, there are going to be Christians who say, absolutely, you're wrong. Ken Ham would be one. There are times where it's clearly not history. But for example, to Ken Ham, Genesis is historical. So we are getting now to a basis of, on the side of Christianity, there is, and between all theistic sects, certainly, there is a large amount of disagreement. And so if you can't even come up to consistency within that broader religious sense, that is another expression of faith. Whereas we on the secular side, and for me, I'm going to put myself on the scientific side, have an actual methodology for refining that is accepted generally through the scientific world amongst the people who don't have theistic motivations. I don't see any such thing for religion. I see a lot of people with faith-based beliefs propping up other faith-based beliefs by coming to the conclusion that faith is an acceptable way to believe or basis. Okay. I'll give you the last 35 seconds because I keep talking.
Yeah, I'm just going to disagree with you on the fact that we don't have a method of refinement, and we're only just sort of, or not only, but that we are in turn propping up other faith-based things necessarily, because I think we do have a method for refinement. I think we, in the Catholic faith at least, refer back to Aristotelian epistemology and categories and such, and we try to refine it by that. And as for the example of Ken Ham, he is someone who I think represents some of like the worst of Christian theology. And it's not just because he's a Protestant, it's because he's solely, well, it is because he's a Protestant, because Protestants live on this doctrine of faith alone or scripture alone. And that's not what Christianity was ever supposed to be. And so I think you're dealing in somewhat perversions of what it was supposed to be. And that's why you see all these weird blind faith-based things happening.
And that's Tom. Okay. Cool. That was excellent. Smile, Jimmy.
I always smile. I fucking love pragmatic. I think that went really well. I'm not even gonna claim victory, even though obviously I won. But I'm just fucking with you. Hold
on one second, Jimmy. Victory is not yours to claim because it is the audience who will decide who wins. Sorry, I had to plug that. You can go in the,
I should have put
the
my
description
makeup
now
on and my hair.
And vote. And now, Jimmy, you can say what you were going to say there before we switch topics.
Oh, I was just saying, I like pragmatic. And I was just at the end saying I should have put on my eyeliner and my hair. I might have gotten more votes. This is my end of the day. In fact, you're in my bedroom for once. Usually you guys are in my studio.
Not for once.
That's not the first time we've been in your bedroom.
Yeah. This is the first time. How many thousands of people, though, have been in here? Pragmatic, though. It's good to see you again, man.
You mean dozens?
You too. To have more discussions in the future, too.
Yeah, I'm genuinely glad you were the one who got up on the board with me. That was cool.
All right.
I would have been debate the killer as well.
We're gonna let you guys go before I start getting jealous that Jimmy is actually giving you praise and compliments. He's almost reaching his limit. I'm just kidding. We will see Jimmy tomorrow here on NonSequitur. Check him out at Mr. Atheist. If you have go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh yeah, check me out at Mr. Atheist. And actually also go to so I have another channel that's for the atheist community of Austin called the Atheist Interviews. Fuck, I'm looking at the wrong one again. And we just posted I interviewed Matt Dillahunty. And so that channel is currently small, but the atheist community of Austin is fucking huge and amazing. They do the atheist experience, they do Talk Heathen. So go there too, especially if you want to watch that. Obviously after this show. But yeah. All right.
Yeah, obviously.
Thanks.
All right, Pragmatic Culture. Any channels or anything you want to plug real quick?
Just my own little channel where I'm trying to do some streams, and my Twitter where I'm more active because it's easier to shit out low quality content.
Well said. I love that. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Jimmy, we'll see you tomorrow. Pragmatic, hopefully we'll see you soon as well.
Cool.
Absolutely.
How long is the voting?
It's just open until the next one closes.
Okay.
So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and I think that we. What do you think, Steve? You think we got time, or should we go on to the bidding one? Can't hear you, Steve. You're muted.
Yeah, I think we have time. But what do you want to call this particular topic for this discussion? In a nutshell, is faith-based religion rational? Maybe.
Yeah. I think that worked. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to put the topic wheel back on. We're going to do one more round, and then the round that follows that will be the bid round. So if you are interested in doing that, stick around, and you have your opportunity following this. Steve is actually going to pick the topic for the bid round. So who knows what will come out of that fucked up mind. All right, give her a spin.
No shit, right?
Just make it bizarre. Tick 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 tick. Anything on there you're looking to see it land on, Steve?
You know what? Honestly, I can't really see a lot of these. They're very, very small, and I'm blind as it is. So
Yeah, I have the same problem.
Yeah, I can't read them, and it's a little bit less resolution than it is on the live. So I think they can see it easier. But some of these, there's no possible way I could even read these. Like this one, I don't know what it says. Let's see when it comes.
Well,
up.
Here it comes.
Well, they can't read this either.
Should marijuana be a medical
option? Did we have this one? I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. But let's spin for the second position or topic.
I'd be surprised if anybody really is against that position, even SJ.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to go with the other one.
Yeah, because even she didn't think that they should eliminate it for medical use. But we did talk about that, yeah.
I believe that I think there's actually only one person that I know of. Actually, is a friend of SJ's that is against that as well. I just can't think of who it was. Somebody on Twitter.
Is the vote link not working, people? We'll have Dave look at that real quick.
Okay.
Oh, damn! This is I was going to pick this one for the bonus one.
What do we got?
Is Trump a good president?
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That would have been a good one to pick for the bonus one, but whatever.
Well, Steve's going to come up with something creative for you guys who are actually bidding to come on, just as a way of saying things. And also, whoever wins that one will, too, get their own episode with us. So even though that's just something extra and different we're doing, you still will get your own date with Steve and I. So
not at the same time. I don't share. Yeah, I don't share.
All right, we'll go ahead and start the clock for you to vote. And Steve can read out any chats if he's got any.
We are going with Trump.
Yeah, we are going with Trump.
Yeah,
is Trump a good president?
I don't have any super chats to read out, but I could comment maybe a little bit on that last discussion that Jimmy had. He wants to kind of know how he did, and I think he did just fine. I think both of them did just fine. The only thing I think that I see a lot of these times in these conversations that there's a distinction between religion and science.
Voting's open, by the way.
Same thing would happen. What's that?
I just said voting's open.
What's that?
I just want to let them know.
Oh,
voting's open.
And so we had the same thing happen with Dr. Seigart, and people just don't understand that necessarily a faith-based belief isn't necessarily relating at all to science. I can believe that a God exists and not make it a ontological claim such that God exists and it's a scientific fact and blah, blah, blah. That's just a personal belief. And I find nothing wrong with that. You can justify having a belief in a deity. You can also make it either rational theism, or you can use reformed epistemology, or whatever, however you justify it. But I think we make the mistake by saying, well, you believe in God, but you know what? We can't test it. There's no verificationism. There's no falsificationism, and it's not science. Who cares? It's not supposed to be. That is why science adheres to methodological naturalism. So I think it's a failed argument to try to relate a science mindset to people with faith. I just don't think that's a really good way to approach that issue. And by the way, the winner link isn't working. Which winner link is that?
The winner link.
Oh, the vote for the winners. They say that to vote for them, the link in the video description is not working.
Let me tell Dave. See what he says. Dave is the spreadsheet master.
He says his winner link goes up after the show. Is there like?
Let's go ahead and make it live if we can. Oh yeah, we have to. I forgot. I think, and Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's because they're all going to be on one form. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I gotcha.
Each name, it's all one sheet instead of having different forms. All the three debates that are four now that we're going to have are on ones, and that keeps people from voting ahead before the other debates end. So that's why. That would make sense. Okay, so yes, at the end of the debate, that link will be live, so you can go there and you can vote on. You can't vote on the first one, obviously, because Isandering won that, but you'll be able to vote on Jimmy and Pragmatic Culture. You'll be able to vote on this one, and then you'll be able to vote on the winner of the bid, should anybody choose to do that. So 20 seconds left to vote for Is Trump a Good President? I think that we're not going to have anybody for this debate because they're all going to be no's, obviously, but we will give them the opportunity
You'd be surprised.
I would be
surprised. Yeah.
I would be.
Yeah, we can get somebody like the Romy Millennial because she's a huge Trump fan.
If we get any Trump supporters, I will be surprised. That's for sure. Okay, hallelujah. Do we have a debate?
3. Oh, we do have a debate.
Good
Wow.
Lord.
I
Okay.
told you'd be surprised. Dumpster fire, here we come.
Oh, man. Man, oh, man.
What
Man,
could
oh, man,
go
oh,
wrong
man.
here?
Nothing. Dave, you're gonna have to mute me so that I don't butt in on this debate.
Yeah,
just
but I'm
waiting.
sure you have a lot of commentary afterwards.
We're just waiting on the wheels, audience. So just to let you know,
Okay.
we gotta wait for these wheels to generate.
They're putting the wheels together. Guys, if you are watching and you're new, as you've seen earlier, we're kind of likable. We do some funny, okay stuff on here. So like the video, subscribe, share us, let your friends know. We also are really big into getting ideas from you guys. Almost every guest that we've had sent to me and Steve asking if we get this person on, we have either reached out to that person or in many cases, we get them on. I think there's only been 2 or 3 times that we've gotten guests that were just ungettable. And obviously one of those was Sam Harris. We see Sam Harris all the time. And yes, we have reached out to Sam Harris. I have personally sent him 2 emails, but surprisingly, he has not wrote me back yet. And I don't understand why.
You know what? Maybe it still might be possible. I don't rule out
We'll keep
anything.
hope alive.
So, I mean, yeah,
Neither do I. We'll
one
keep
thing
hope
though,
alive.
I can tell you for a fact this though.
Okay.
If we try to reach out for somebody, we do try to reach out for somebody. If people make a request and we think that it's viable and we can do it, we take it and rerun with it, and we do actively try to get those people on. So,
yep. Let's put the wheel up for the people who do think Trump is a good president. All right, let's get to fapping.
I'm seeing a pattern here, guys.
What's the
Not
pattern?
a lot of people want to debate.
Well, that's okay. Some people, may not want to get on. I understand that.
But this is a good topic. I think this would be the one that they would want to jump on.
I mean, I'm surprised to see 2 names, though. 2 names is 2 more than I expected.
Really? I'm not that surprised with it.
Yes.
But I don't know what their arguments are going to be. Guess we're going to find out. Sandring.
Oh, we can't do Isandering because he already went. We have that rule.
Oh, that's true. Well, then it's got to be Mussolino, who he didn't come on, right? He wasn't that 2-scoop guy, right? All right, then it's got to just be Musavandra.
Yeah, it's going to be we in the first debate we all did a rule where if you can't come on twice so we get new people. So you will be the backup in case something happens and Miss Andrew can't come in. So just stand by anyway, just in case. And I'm sorry to see that you think Trump's a good president. I thought we had a good relationship and a thing going, Isandring.
I don't hold it against you, sort of, maybe, kind of. I don't know.
I'm kidding. Okay, and now we'll go to the no wheel. In just a second. Let me see here. Follow us, yes. Follow us on Twitter. You will be amazed at the dumpster fire Steve and I get into. That's your best way to keep in contact with us and to see what we're doing throughout the day, because we are on Twitter almost 24/7. So if you're not following us, do so, and you can find us at NonSeq Show, NonSeq Show, and Steve at Steve McRae _. All right.
It's a
Give
total
her a
shit
chance.
show on Twitter.
Yeah. You'll know when Steve gets mad when he starts whipping out 100
I have like a scale.
character.
I start off like this every time I log on. I start off like this, this mellow, and then each time somebody pisses me off, I get incrementally, a little more aggressive and a little more using caps. So every time, so you can kind of tell how long I've been on Twitter by my tone. That's for sure.
Also, you can know when he gets angry because if you're getting into an argument with him, it will at some point during the day become a poll.
Yes, I do like my polls. Well, they bitched to me about having polls in the Great Debate community, although now I'm finding out they're missing them. It's like because I took them to Twitter, and now they're like, no, we need more polls.
The atheist brony.
Atheist brony.
Okay, who is the right to the who is the right to atheist brony? I can't see it, Dave.
That would be Reed Cordial Curiosity.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I like
cool.
Cordial Curiosity.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of his work.
This would be pretty good.
All right. So, Cordial Curiosity, you are in the backup for this debate if something happens with the atheist brony. Now, Steve, what's a brony?
A brony is somebody who's a big fan of My Little Pony.
I see the avatars all the time with those in them. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, they think that My Little Pony is like the greatest show on earth and has a lot of moral lessons and things.
Is that like a furry?
No, not really. Furry is an anime type thing where we're not even anime. It's animos, where you have a spirit form that you take upon yourself, and you wear a costume to show the outside of your totem or your spirit or your animal thing. It's not quite.
Are you fucking with me right now?
No. That's what it is. But the My Little Bronies are. I mean, there's quite a few of them. It's not a small little group. It's a movement. And to be honest with you, I've never watched one episode. So
I haven't either. But I'm fascinated right now. I want to know more.
You never heard of any of these groups prior to YouTube, huh? These are all like things you probably have never been exposed to in your entire life until you came on freaking YouTube.
I've never heard of bronies. I've never heard of furries. I've never heard of incels. I've never heard of brain cells. I've never heard of
that's my favorite, by the way, brain
anthropomorphs. Go ahead, Dave. Okay. Never heard of cisgendered anthropomorphs or whatever. I mean, there's just so many. There's so many things.
Hello.
Hello. How do you say your name, sir?
This is very interesting topic. My name is Musa Väinö.
Oh wow! Say that one more time because I'm gonna hack that all to shit.
Musa Väinö.
Musa Väinö. Musa Väinö.
Yes, because my name is Väinö, and then I like music. I do DJ stuff and stuff like that. So Musa is our Finnish language word for shortening for music. So I used to do this kind of a parody show where I took a pop artist and then kind of ripped them a new asshole, and it was this funny show, and there I got the name.
Cool. I'm gonna call you Musa. Okay, is that cool?
That is very cool.
Awesome. Okay, that's easy for me to handle. All right, and the atheist brony. Okay, cool. Got you on. I was just finding out what a brony was.
That's a brony.
All right. So can you guys hear me all right? This mic working?
We can.
Man, your beard has got a majestic the last time I've seen you.
Yeah, I've let it grow out quite a bit.
Yeah, and I shaved mine, so I mean, because mine was.
If you want to see, if you want to see the profile right here.
There you go. Yeah, mine was a year or two, but you know what? It's scratchy, and I didn't like it. I like this better.
You need a moment, Steve?
Yeah, we're reconnecting. It's been a while.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Well, welcome Musa and the atheist brony to the debate roulette here on NonSequitur. You are going to be talking about why Trump is a good president, and your number one listener is going to be myself because I am dying to hear the evidence for this one. We will start with Musa because he is taking the affirmative. Musa, you have 3 minutes. The clock is on your screen. I don't know if you can see it because if you're in Discord, you probably won't be able to. But if that's the case, I will give you a indicator when you have 30 seconds left. I'll butt in. Please excuse that. I don't mean to throw you off, but I just want to let you know how much time that you have remaining in that round. All right, Musa, your 3 minutes begins now.
Sure thing. So I think this is actually really interesting. It can also almost tie to the last topic that was atheism versus Christianity as a belief structure, because I think that you have really hard time without some kind of faith to convince me otherwise that Trump is a good president. Let's look at, for example, I think three things that make him a good president: economy, jobs, and then this border control. Because I think it's funny that we are questioning this Christianity faith that has been able to keep Europe safe from Islamic invasion from almost 2,000 years, but we are not questioning the belief system of a brownie. This is just a joke, of course. But let's think about the economy first. So when you look at the economy and compare presidents, it is really hard to differentiate what is actually on the economical side on behalf of Barack Obama, the last president, and what is because of Trump. Because no matter what you kind of do in your economy, then there's some sort of lag before you can see it in any kind of numbers. But I think now it has gone so much time that you can say that these recent developments, which have been positive for the America, have been because of Trump. One thing that has helped clearly American economy is the tariff question. So that when you have a free trade, it happens usually that there is jobs go to cheaper countries. But you don't want to do that as a nationalist president because you want your people to have jobs. So one way to work on this problem is to ask more money when you are getting product from other countries so that it's less favorable for them to compete on your markets, and you can just buy like stuff that you have yourself in America done, and with American jobs. And I think this has been positive to the American economy. Then if you look at the job situation, second part, is that we see a lot less unemployment than Barack Obama's time. We can even see that this one very hard kind of topic is the job percent of black males, which has been less than with white males, less jobs, and he's even better at that. Thank you.
Okay. And you can see the clock, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. That way I only broke in because he can't see it because he's on Discord. So I'll just let you watch your time on your own. And whenever you're ready, you can begin.
All right. Let's just get right into this, shall we? Since he talked pretty heavily on economics and jobs, I believe that should be the first thing I address. One of the big campaign promises of Donald Trump was that he was upset by a lot of the job outsourcing and stuff like that. But I think it should be mentioned, for the first year as president, the United States as a country has outsourced 93,000 jobs. That's more than that happened at any time during Barack Obama's presidency, any time before. I mean, Donald Trump's first year, I mean, obviously there's predecessors and economic stuff from beforehand, but it doesn't seem to do. Donald Trump hasn't done much to prevent it. In fact, remember, right after he got elected, there was the carrier job plant that he made a big show of. And all he ended up doing with the big deals that he made was just delay the outsourcing of those jobs to Mexico for a couple of months. Now they're already gone, even though he made a big deal out after getting elected about saving those carrier jobs. And as far as the lower unemployment, yes, it's true. But at the same time, I mean, look at what the unemployment was when Barack Obama took office. It was the economy was being destroyed. It was cratering. It was the entire world's economy was destroyed at that point. And over time, as Barack Obama was president, slowly over time, the unemployment rate lowered, and it's continued to lower as for Donald Trump's first year. But if you actually look at the jobs that have been produced, the wages for those jobs are terrible. The hourly wage or the salaries of people who are working these jobs are terrible. They're horrible jobs. I mean, McDonald's, Walmart, Target, shit jobs that, paycheck to paycheck. That's basically the jobs that Donald Trump has created. And one other thing that I wanted to bring up in the opening thing is what I also think is a very important aspect of what makes a good president is how he makes the country be seen throughout the world. Donald Trump has done, in my opinion, a terrible job with that. As far as from the first thing for me is when he canceled the Iran deal. I mean, basically the International Atomic Energy Association got to basically live up the Iranian government's ass, making sure that they didn't produce nuclear weapons. And all we had to do was give them back some of their own money. That's the entire deal. Get some of their own money, and for not making nuclear weapons. Which, by the way, I do recall the supreme leader of Iran making a fatwa against production of nuclear weapons a while back. So technically, I believe that makes it illegal in Iran to even produce them in the first place. So it was money to give them their own money back in order to get them to agree to make something that they didn't want to make anyway. Donald Trump killed that deal because of just political bullshit and to look like a superhero.
Okay. All right. We're going to now go back to Musa. Your 3 minutes begins now.
Okay. Well, I'll have to start with that. I don't in any way claim that Trump is flawless president. And you bring these 2 good points, which I don't have a very strong counter. But I would just say that they are just individual cases, and the whole big picture speaks louder in that way. And I would also like to talk about, I think, this immigration question, because like before 1900s, every state had a clear principle that even if they want to be a state, that they control their immigration, that the borders are controlled. And really like big questions in today's culture that should that be done. And I think it's just a really crazy idea that you should have an open border type of system. For example, one that I saw Trump they raised this subject with him about his immigration policies, that they are separating the families and also the children and the parents when immigration crime happens. And the reason we really have done this before is that we don't want possibly strange children to go into a locked space with adults that are not possibly their own. And I think it was really harmful when he was questioned on it, so that he needed to back away. And actually, I would give this credit to him, that he actually made it so that we are not anymore separating the children and the parents. But let's think about this, that the implicit promise when we selected Barack Obama was that the race relations in USA would get better, that we would kind of prove that there's no black glass ceiling in America and that anyone can be president.
Seconds.
And it kind of went okay, but now that you look at afterwards, you can see that they are much worse than when they were before Barack Obama, and his stance on Black Lives Matters is one of the big reasons in my mind why this is happening.
Okay. You actually did really good timing on that. That was almost perfect. All right. Final 3 minutes for you, Atheist Brony, and then we will open it up for the discussion round whenever you're ready.
All right. I guess if you're talking about the immigration issue, if you want to focus on that to a large extent, I almost consider it a non-issue because since I forget the year, it's 2005-ish, net immigration from Mexico has been zero. I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, they nicknamed Barack Obama the deporter in chief. So it's not like he was a weak lily when it came to deportation immigration issues. He was pretty hard about it too. He just didn't want to build a stupid wall that wouldn't do a goddamn thing. Sorry, what's the language? Sorry about the language.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Okay. But more than anything, I just, it's not something I even really spend a lot of time focusing on, to be honest, because, I mean, to be honest, the biggest problem with immigration from Mexico is basically because of drug cartels who are coming from South America to the United States to sell drugs. The single biggest thing we could do as a country to deal with immigration is to have a better drug policy, a bit more sane one that doesn't create a black market full of cartels trying to kill, terrorize, and just basically fuck with the Central American governments and people in an effort to make themselves more money and just more power. That would be one of the biggest things. I mean, one of the things that we've seen is that their power has gone down substantially as far as marijuana goes, since certain states in this country have begun legalizing it. A lot of certain cartels have lost a lot of power. I think that if we continue that, it would weaken the cartels quite a bit. And suddenly the reason that's driving a lot of the Central American immigrants northward would go away, and they'd be able to create a more stable country down there rather than being forced to come up here. And the problem with I don't really see Donald Trump going anything along those ways. In fact, he's surrounding himself with people who are pretty hawkish on drug issues like Jeff Sessions, who I cannot honestly see them doing anything even remotely positive when it comes to marijuana policy or cocaine or, any sorts of like legal but regulated policies. I think that makes more sense because I do not believe that black markets are a good idea with a lot of things that if you saw what happened with prohibition and alcohol in the United States and creating the mafia. And you'll see that nowadays with the same exact thing now. So I mean, there is an issue there, but the biggest thing we could do is to readdress our drug problems. And that would help, I think, stabilize a lot of the Central and Southern American countries who are trying to import governments or import drugs to the U.S. to make big money and, in the richest country in the world. And I think I'll call it there.
Okay. Excellent. All right. This final round, we'll open it up for 10 minutes. And you will have the chance to go back and forth since Musa started. We'll let Musa start with the first question or comment, and then.
Before we do that, and this is the audience can hear me now too. I just want to find out where Musa Viano is currently, because I might be able to fix. We're having a slight connection issue with him, so I might be able to fix that.
Okay.
I'm here.
Here, where's here? Like.
Where are you? Like,
what do you mean?
It's a big world.
What country?
Yeah, what
Where in
country?
the world?
Yeah, Finland.
Finland. Okay, yeah. It's kind of what I thought. We're dealing with a long distance
Just
connection and Discord.
If I can quickly make a,
Give me a
if I
second.
quickly
You're
make
good,
this
you're
unrelated.
You're clipping a little
Yeah,
bit on Discord, so let me move the server and then we'll start your time. So give me a second.
Yep. But go ahead and say, you said you have something unrelated?
Yeah, I would just like to say that in regards of Finnish public, I would like to apologize Donald Trump, because there's actually now this little news thing going on that our biggest cities, Helsinki, their newspaper kind of published a picture comparing Donald Trump to a pig. And I understand
what?
this liberal bias that they have, that they would never compare Barack Obama to a black ape, but they would compare Donald Trump to a pig. And I just found it tasty because there is this big summit going on in Finland. And
Musa,
I think
there's so much to unpack. There's so much to unpack there that
I just like to apologize.
Well, I understand what you're doing, but there are a lot of aspects to what you just said, and that's an area that. Well, it's just a bad area to go into, and one that I really, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure the apology thing's fine, but I don't want to go into all the nuances that are involved with why you wouldn't compare, Barack Obama to an ape.
Yeah, I understand.
It's just a lot. So I think he's got your connection fixed. We're gonna start the clock it's actually gonna be 10 minutes on this round. So you can either ask him a question or you can make a statement based on what you heard in his last statement there. So whichever way you want to go, you can begin now.
Yeah, so I would like to make two little points about what he said last. First of all, on the drug policy, I'm actually a classical liberal, so I wouldn't have a problem with having a state that you can use any drug you want. And I think the money would be much better spent on like helping people who have problems with drug use than it is policing on drug use. So I don't think we have a problem there. And I think that Trump's views on that are then kind of, because he's a conservative right-wing politician, they are coming from that direction, and I don't always agree with every policy that they would like there. But I do think that there is much you could do in United States to better your drug policy, and I think we are very much on the same letter there. So I don't find that so interesting point. But I would like to.
I was just going to say, since you just gave a little bit of an olive branch, I will actually espouse one thing I've actually agreed with Donald Trump with. I don't agree with how he did it. I thought he did it a bit clumsily, but the tariff on imported metals like aluminum and stuff, I actually think that's a fairly decent idea. As far as I do kind of have a bit of a protectionist trade policy as far as some elements of production. So I think Donald Trump did it in a poor, clumsy way that kind of inflicted a possible trade war, but I think it's actually a fundamentally decent idea.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Then I want to touch on the immigration issue and the idea of wall. So I have this idea, I must have heard it somewhere, I'm not this smart, but that basically Donald Trump, the critics of Donald Trump take him literally but not seriously. Then us little bit fans take him seriously, but not literally. So actually, when I heard the idea of a wall, I have to admit that even though I'm like a fan, I thought it was just this kind of a metaphor to kind of talk about how America relates to immigration issues and not an actual physical wall. But like even the idea has worked to lessen the immigration. And I think it's the idea that when world leaders, country leaders talk tough on immigration, then if you're thinking about, would I immigrate to this other country where I may have a better life or some kind of benefit system, but they are kind of giving the media signal that, no, we are going to be tough on you, please don't come here, then you maybe reconsider and not move so much to the United States. And actually, like our country has done a terrible mistake there that our prime minister is actually saying like, please welcome here, you can have my house. And that is just, I understand the need of a virtue signal if you are that kind of a person, but that's just a horrible, because it can affect on how people immigrate into other countries, and they can have a false promise because someone who is politician or whatever gives them kind of a wrong signal on how the country will take on that issue. And I want to give the floor to you now.
And I can completely agree that some of the immigration from the Middle East to Europe over the since the Syrian crisis has been extremely clumsy and poorly thought out. One of the biggest things is, now that they're coming to a completely new country with completely new laws, completely new way of life, and they did not get any, as far as I can tell, lessons or information about, what the new system is that they're going to have to live under and how they got to act in the new country. I think that was a very terrible idea, just to let anybody in without any questions asked. I completely agree on that. I think it was a poorly thought out thing, but at the same time, it's I look at the crisis going on in Syria and in Yemen and a lot of the stuff going on there. They let their compassion get ahead of them. I think they needed to be more compassionate yet firm, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can totally see that, and I think you have to kind of not think about there are exceptions to the rule and stuff, but you just kind of have to look at the percentages and what kind of cultural, etc., change do you have in your country if you happen to let a lot of refugees into your country. Like, for example, I think Stefan Molyneux has very well argued that the freedom of your country will go down, and there are actually, you can study it, but of course, it's not exact science how you study how much freedom you have in your country. But as I've looked at some of the criteria, then I think they are reasonable to give you a suggestion of what will happen.
Well, I can't completely agree with that, because recent polling in amongst American Muslims have them more accepting of various liberal ideas like homosexuality and different ways of life than American conservative evangelicals. So to some extent, I think freedom actually, there are plenty of Muslims out there who just want to live their life and, live basically, a more libertarian, liberal, Western lifestyle. It's just that they live in a part of the world where governments are controlled by horrible, despotic dictators. And unfortunately, one of my other problems with Donald Trump is that he props up countries like Saudi Arabia. I remember not too long ago, he's going through this huge press conference talking about the weapons deal that he went through, going through pictures. Hey, look, here's a $200 billion project. Here's a $15 million project. Here's all these things, all this money that U.S. companies are getting. And oh wait, you're gonna use that to commit a genocide in Yemen, aren't you? And we're partaking and helping in that. That's one of the absolutely terrible things. Another one of the reasons why I think Trump is a bad president is, like I said, how he makes the country look to the world, and he makes us look like, Saudi Arabia's bitch boys who are helping them in a genocide and kill, Shiite Muslims who they don't like.
I think this might be a kind of a maybe possible worldview problem, but I don't believe in any kind of golden ground theory that when you bring people here, they will behave, vote, and, for example, commit crime in a very different way when what they did or thought when they were in their own country. So I have a statistic here that is the question, is homosexual behavior moral? And this is the percentage of what Muslims say about it. And it's quite bleak, as you might imagine, if you look at the countries. For example, Nigeria, 90% say that they are immoral. Let's say that Jordan, it's 96%, Pakistan, 90%. And this is interesting that Pakistan, Iraq is 77%. Iraq and Somalia are the countries that, at least here in Finland, we have got most of the refugees. They're not actually coming from Syria, which is also interesting question. And they
that's another problem. Just people who show up without actually being war refugees, claiming they are. That's another issue. But to get to the one of the things that I feel like I should point out, as far as what the illegal immigration from Mexico, statistically, they commit crime at a lower rate than the general U.S. population, which I think that's at least relevant and worth bringing up. And the what was it you said? The statistics about homosexuality being immoral in Nigeria and various Muslim countries throughout Africa. I feel like I should point out that there are Christian nations in Africa where homosexuality is a capital offense. You can be put to death for being gay in some Christian African nations. So, if that's really no exception. If you want to go pure religious zealotry. Any Abrahamic faith pretty much can get you to that conclusion. So Christianity, in my opinion, isn't really all that much better than Islam. It's just Islam is more right now is in the dark ages that Christianity was in the 12 to 1500s or so.
Yeah, well, I kind of reject this idea also that Muslim countries are just, 400 years behind our times. And if we would just throw enough money to them, they would somehow see the light and come to our level, and given time that will happen. Because I think that if you have a caliphate and you have this religious Islamic rule, well, the things that the caliphate wants and respects and what kind of values it wants to go, they are even 2,000-year-old caliphate wants the caliphate ideas. So that we can see this actually in many European countries, for example, Netherlands, and that they make political parties that try to force the Sharia on the new country in Europe. And that is very believable if they believe that is the correct way to live. And I think Atheism is Unstoppable does a really great job in bringing this, that when you are comparing Christianity and Islamic in this way, you kind of have to do this mental gymnastic trick that even Christians burned witches.
Okay. All right.
Can I bring up one small point?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to point out to the folks like Ibn al-Haytham during the golden age of Islam. They were some of the greatest scientists, mathematicians, philosophers that the world knew at that period. The guy I mentioned, I believe he's kind of credited as the guy who invented the control during scientific experiments. Okay. The idea of analyzing two sides. So Islam is just as capable of advancing science and technology as other things. It's just they're stuck in a dark age right now. They need a reform.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you both to you guys. Do you have a channel or anything that you would like, either one of you, that you'd like to plug or have people check you out at?
Well,
yeah, sure. I have a channel.
You go first.
I have a channel, Musa Vaino, at YouTube, and the older videos are in English, but I'm now trying a little bit more on the Finnish content because I think there's a highly lacking of this kind of skeptic, interesting topics and news stories being discussed in Finnish language. Not from, let's say, far right. There are no far leftist bloggers really that I know of. Maybe one, but he's not like open invitation to talking, so I kind of disregard that already.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, thank you both. We're going to. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
I want to just quickly say that thank you. This was very high quality, good debate, and I really enjoyed having this discussion with you. And you had really good points on this discussion.
All right, thank you. And I enjoyed the conversation too. And if I could just real quick, I do have a YouTube channel.
Oh.
And
maybe see what I got. Please do.
There we go.
Brony, you're back. Say it over again because you paused for like 10 seconds. So can you give your channel one more time, please?
Okay. Is this better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
All right. It's a small channel, almost no subscribers. I haven't made a video in a while, but if you want to check it out and subscribe, maybe I can be persuaded to start making videos again someday. The Atheist Brony, all one word. Just go check it out. See what I got. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. All right. Take care to both of you. All right. Now we're going to go into the last round for this evening. I believe, Steve, we had 3 topics that.
Yeah, we have 3 topics. And what we're going to do is we're going to let the live chat kind of pick between these 3 what they want to hear a debate on. And so I'm going to read you the 3 that are out there. Obviously, the 3 super chats that are on the top there. So you guys get to pick. And just do it. If you want the first one, put 1. You want the second one, put 2. You want the third one, put 3. So the first one is welfare a net benefit in society? Number 2 would be alimony or spousal support a good thing or time to go? And then 3, should steroids be allowed in professional sports? So you guys,
okay. And then,
how long do you want to give them to pick?
We'll give them 2 minutes to pick, and we can watch that so that we don't have to make another clock. And then at the end of that, we will be letting you guys bid on the affirmative and the negative. And remember, the winner of this also will get a date with Steve and I here on the show. You'll be able to choose the format, whatever you want to do, and we'll have those both those both bid rounds for 3 minutes. We'll start at $1 and go up from there. So you can bid on your actual chance to enter at the end of the 3 minutes. Whoever's the highest on there comes in.
And you get to be right between us.
Cool. Right. It'll be fun. We'll be gentle.
Hell no. I like it rough. Big
So
surprise,
gentle.
right?
All right. So what's it looking like, Steve?
It's, you know what? I'm just kind of doing a quick, thing here. It looks like ones are generally taking over right now. Ones are pretty much in the lead, which would be, is welfare a net benefit of society?
Okay.
Definitely
Excellent.
more ones than anything else.
All right. That's a divisive issue, though. Don't think so?
It could be. No, I mean, it could be. I mean, it depends on how people argue in it. And what type of
this is a really good
welfare
episode.
actually, are they going to argue for like food stamps? Are they going to for medical? Are they going to socialized medicine? Obama phones. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could be falling in this category. So
this was a surprisingly amazing episode.
Yeah, I think that the debates were great. It just wasn't the dumpster fire I was going for, but you know what? They were good. They were entertaining. So I think that's key
Way too
as well.
civil on Donald Trump, by the way.
Way too civil.
Yeah,
I get that one.
I didn't. I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but is that a double standard, Steve? To be able to call one president an orangutan and then you can't do it to the other one? That is a question right there.
Here's the thing. I think he just came out today. He got voted like the worst president in the last 200 years or something like that. But
before you go into that, though, Steve, hold on. Before you go into that, the clock is over. So go ahead and give us our topic, and then when we start the bid clock, you can tell me what you think about that question. So
yeah, it's definitely ones. There's no question about that.
Okay.
Is welfare a net benefit of society? Sorry, Jamie.
All right. So now we're going to throw. Now we're going to throw 3 minutes on the clock. And the people who think that welfare is a benefit. Start at $1. Steve will watch that. And if you want to come in and you want to potentially have a date with Steve and I, you can vote now. Okay. Now, Steve, I asked what I was asking was one paper called Trump. I think they illustrated an orangutan. If a paper was to do that with Barack Obama as as an ape, would that be? It wouldn't be received well. I think we can agree. But is that double standard?
No, I don't think it is. Let me explain why. Trump does look like an orangutan. I mean, it's a comical thing. But there's always been this black stereotype that people had put forth that black people would be apes or monkeys, and that's something. There's a racial consideration that needs to be taken into account when you make some of these kind of comedic things. And for a paper to make that kind of tie, there's always that institutionalized racism that's going to be a part of that has to be accounted for because it exists. There's nothing about the white privilege that Trump has by comparing him to orangutan that people are going to go, oh, look, it's a racial issue. So I think there's a fair divide between those two things, and I don't think that they're equal by any means because of the history that African Americans or black people have had in America.
I can agree with that. Actually, funny story. Bill Maher made a comment about Donald Trump's. I think it is his father was an orangutan, and Donald Trump actually sued Bill Maher for that comment. This was several years ago, but that's been going on for years. But I would agree that it's not a double standard. It's a comical thing. And the other one would be a racial aspect. So, but I didn't want to go into the nuances that involves. All right, 1 minute left, guys. on the clock. You can check out the shows that are coming up this week and the following weeks by going to nonsecshow.com/schedule. That's NONSEQ show.com/schedule. Also, we have a Facebook group. We are now streaming live to Twitch and Facebook Live. So if you're on forums, you catch us there. Starting soon, we'll be doing after shows. Some after shows on the bigger events that we do. We'll be doing those on Twitch as well. So if you are on those platforms and for some reason don't watch on YouTube, you can check us out there as well. And it looks like we've got about 15 seconds left. And we will close this out. Maybe talk about welfare in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, that's closed.
Well,
Steve?
I'm not sure if people want to come in and debate this one, but what we can do is you want to just open it up.
Sure.
What do you want to offer to Sandring? Sandra picked the topic, so I think that we should at least give him an opportunity if he wants to argue on this, but I don't know what side he's on. And then if somebody wants to argue against him.
Yeah, we should open up for the no now and give them the same opportunity that we did the yeses, and then if we have somebody, we can let him come in.
Was that just for the yeses? Or we can do a separate one for the no's? Okay.
That was for the yeses. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and put 3 more minutes on. And this is for no. What side is Sandring on? Do you know?
We didn't say. Sandring, what side are you on? Yes or no? Because that we just did the yeses. So.
Yeah.
Let me see if he put it up here. I don't think he did.
You know, maybe we should go, since we didn't have anybody for that one, go to the next most voted issue. Because I mean, if there's nobody to debate against,
Sandring would be no. So let's do the yeses.
Okay. Well, we just did the yeses. That's what I'm saying.
We did. Oh, that was the yeses. Okay. Did the live audience recognize that we were doing the yeses?
Yeah, I said it twice. So I mean, let's go to the next topic, I guess. We don't have anybody for him to argue.
You want to go to the next one that was picked? Because the next one was probably the third one, I think. Let me just go up and check.
Okay.
Kind of looking. Who come on, people put 4. What's wrong with you people?
I knew that would happen. I knew it.
Yeah, one person put 69. We know where your mind's at.
Call me later.
Are you more the 6 or the 9? No, never mind. I don't even want to know. Should steroids be allowed in professional sports?
Okay, we'll go with that, and we'll do 2 minutes on each round this time. See if which side is Jamie taking?
Jamie, what side are you taking?
We'll go ahead. Okay. Go ahead and start it while if you're pro, I guess we'll start with the pro. If you think they should be allowed, we'll go and start now. I'm going to guess that Jamie would say no. What do you think?
You know, it's funny. I was just watching something yesterday on what's considered to be cheating in sports, right? And obviously steroids would be, one of those things that is it cheating or not. But some of the other things were kind of hard to question, whether like having a pine oil on your hand for better grip for a baseball player is cheating or not, because obviously you can change the dynamics of the ball and you can cause like goop balls and things like that. So he said yes, really?
Oh, wow.
He wants to be yes.
Well, just let it. Yeah.
All right, then let's
see.
Want to just do no?
Votes for the no. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Started at $1. If you want to debate, Jamie.
Not pine oil, pine tar.
Cool. All right. So this is if you don't think that steroids should be allowed to be used in professional sports. There are no.
So $1 super
You're
chat,
against Mark
and
McGuire.
you're coming in between us. You got a date with us tonight, and with David. We're throwing David too.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. So a foursome.
Yeah,
Always a good time.
which I've had before, but wasn't like this.
We don't want to know.
Oh, but you probably do. Trust me.
Oh, we don't. Nope. We don't.
Good times back in the day.
So what was I asking? I was asking you something before about I don't think we ever got into it though, but did we talk about Friended Forever and that debate?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on it. I mean, he's even asking me while we're live, you know, what's his conclusions that are off, and it's just like, look at it. I don't think that you can make the argument that religion, because it has been co-evolved culturally with evolution, that somehow that makes religion an inherently beneficial thing to society. I can't make that conclusion now. Can there be benefits from religion? Sure, but is that normative? No, I don't think so. So, well, there can be benefits from religion. I don't think that's even that controversial. There are certain things that religion,
that's a big no.
But the question more is anything that religion have you can't find from an alternative source? Can you find it from a secular source? That's more the controversy that's out there.
His point they brought up, where it's a good thing because it's been distance for 2,000 years, was the point that I just couldn't wrap my head around, because obviously it lasted because people didn't have explanations for why things happen until we got into scientifically proven that. Of course, you know, in 2,000 years ago, you're going to think that lightning is caused by something up there. That makes sense. They had no other reason not to think that. When confronted with another reason, though.
But those are more type of natural gods, or anthropomorphic gods, where you have one deity that's in charge of a specific thing. I mean, Ocean believes in those types of gods, but you know,
sure,
the whole concept of the god itself, you know, goes back to more of the explanation for the existence of everything, the grounding for everything, the first cause.
Right.
And if somebody believes that, then you know, there could be benefits to society from that. I mean, and religion has given a lot culturally and education wise towards society. I mean, without religion, I don't think we would have half the culture we have. But again, I think the question boils down to is that making it inherently a good thing? And I think that Friended Forever is making the argument because it has not been selected out culturally, because he's using this dual model where evolution and cultural evolution coexist with each other. Mm-hmm.
Do we have anybody? I missed the hallelujah.
No.
When we were talking, nobody wanted to debate that?
Doesn't look like it. We have any no's? Oh, Pat, you got okay. So we do have one no.
All right, so Pat.
So let's get them in here. Are they coming in on camera? What's the scoop? Oh,
yeah, Pat. Are you?
Way.
Pat,
yeah, join our Discord, Pat, and we'll bring you in.
My whole thing with Friended Forever was when he went to that argument that it, as a control vehicle, religion is okay even if we know it to not be true. That's when I got thoroughly disgusted at that point. Because if the shoe were on the other foot and atheists actually knew God existed, but were withholding that information from the world, do you know what a shitstorm that would be?
See, I think he's trying
also,
to run
just to clarify, I gave him the numbers the next day on the because he got into a little tiff with me because I said that most religions think that being gay is a sin, and I actually sent over the numbers unequivocally that show from Pew Research that most of them discourage. And what did he do? He tried to conflate the words most and all, trying to say that all By
He did
by
do
me
that, yeah.
saying most religions, I meant all religions, and I can tell the difference between most and all. And I think Steve, you can. You're over here.
Yeah, I saw it, and I
you
called
can
him
as
out for
well,
that
right?
as well. Yes, we're actually over there. Yeah, and I called him out of that. I called him out and said that was not right. I mean, you can't you can't take somebody who says
Pat's-
most.
Pat's in the
and
Discord.
make it all.
Okay. Hello, Pat. Hello, Jamie.
I don't know where Jamie's at.
Okay.
Jimmy, come on in.
I can't wait to see what poster he has today.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you come on camera, so let me just get that set up right away.
Yeah,
Pat, tell us a little bit about yourself while we wait.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Kind of neat to talk to everybody for the first time. Been watching the show
Oh.
for a little bit off and on for a few weeks now.
Pat, you look like Jamie.
Pardon me?
Wrong spot.
I said you look like Jamie. Okay, there we go.
Oh, you moved. Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't
Go
have
ahead,
a
Pat.
camera
I'm sorry.
on. Oh, what are you guys trying to do? Make me look ugly or what?
I don't know. Somebody just said we need to
Oh.
work on our Brady Bunch skills. Yeah, because he's over there. Then
I do. Yeah.
Jamie's
Yeah. I need to.
over-
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not good at this.
Jamie?
There you go. Jamie.
Jamie, how are you today, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Well, what's your poster today?
It's the same as last time. I haven't had a chance to change it.
Cool.
Just thanking God for blessing me with an atheist mind and these beautiful lips.
You have the
These
luscious
cherry
red lips. Yeah.
He really does.
It's not.
He really
It's
does.
totally natural.
Let's debate
Um,
that issue. Who has better lips than Jamie? Pat, go. I'm kidding. Go ahead, Jamie.
No, I was just gonna say. I just picked topics. I didn't know you guys were gonna set up the person who picked the topic to debate. So if
We
I
didn't
was
either.
going to offer, if somebody else was out there that had a more entertaining position on this, I don't know if I can.
We didn't.
You'll figure
I
out
didn't take my
something.
We didn't
medicine. I didn't take my medicine, so I might not last that long tonight in the pleasure. Apologize.
Well, that's okay. That's we'll see how it goes. We didn't either. We just decided that if since you put in for the topic and you should have the opportunity to defend it if you want to. So we make it up as we go along sometimes,
Sure.
and it
Jamie,
works because we have
at
two
my
people in
age-
here now.
At my age, if I don't take my medicine, I don't last as long either. Just FYI.
I teed it up and you knocked it out of the park.
I know. At least I got that one.
Listen. Okay, so let's get into this discussion now. Welcome to both of you. Welcome back, Jamie and Pat. It's nice to meet you. The question is: should steroids be allowed to be used in professional sports? We start out with 3 minutes to kind of introduce yourself and state your position on the question. And the first 3 minutes is yours, Jamie. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, the first thing I was going to say is I wanted to jump in on the Trump debate. I was going to take a pseudonym name of like Al Jones or something and be like, Trump supporters are the best and Trump's going to do a great job. I kind of wanted to do the Alex Jones.
Yes.
You're probably going to, I hope that's not a copyright thing by me saying his trademark name. Speaking of pills too, he sells those brain pills. What are they called? Brain something.
It's like brain force.
Brain Force, yeah, it's 100% soy milk in a pill form or something. No, but as far as steroids is concerned, you mentioned, Kyle, that I feel like I should go like this. You mentioned, Kyle, that I'm not, I might be against it, and I'm not sure if you were thinking like I equate steroids with drugs in the sense of recreational drugs, but my whole point is it pisses me off that these athletes makes as much money as they do for what they do, and it's crazy to me how in this country people support professional sports where it allows these people to make that much money. I wish a lot of that money could be used in better careers, better occupations, and things that would have a better benefit in our society. So with that being said, yeah, I mean, let's make the job worth the salary. People who work on oil rigs, I don't know if they have these situations where an explosion happens, they got to jump out into the ocean and swim around for a while with oil on the skimming, floating on top of the water, and flames there, and they're just praying that they don't die. And they get out and they don't make as much money as some of these professional athletes. So I'm saying, more legs being broken, more neck injuries, more potential for paralysis. Justify the millions. But ultimately, Americans are demanding better and better and better and better performance out of these athletes. They want taller athletes. They want, bulkier athletes. I mean, you watch black and white films where in the 1950s where people are playing football and, there's these skinny little Harvard graduates, not anymore today. So I'm just saying, let them do what they have to do to provide, and kind of, let's just rush our society to that Hunger Games mentality where we're demanding blood. That's about it.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, and I did, Jamie. That's why I said that I would bet that you wouldn't be against it because you might think they were the same as recreation drugs. But yeah, I mean, your position makes sense. So, and what I figure we'll do, guys, is after Pat gets done with his 3 minutes, we'll just go ahead and open this up to the discussion where you can talk about it, since it's, one of those issues where you might not be able to stretch out, 10 more minutes on it in a rebuttal. We'll just let you guys have a discussion right after Pat gets finished with his intro, if that's cool with you guys.
Well, that's fine.
Cool. All right, Pat, whenever you're ready.
Oh, hi, everybody. My name's Pat. I was supposed to be told this was supposed to be a flat earth debate, but I guess that's out of the question at the moment. That's why you should not do steroids, because it makes you a flat earther. It's kind of a hard thing. I don't know all the specifics of the steroids themselves, other than the one simple fact is steroids help you perform better. So who or what is actually performing better, you or the steroid? We never had steroids back when Babe Ruth hit all those home runs and Barry Bonds comes around and he does something that's supposed to be impossible. Well, why did he do it? Well, he had medical help. Should that be allowed? That's up for debate. I don't think so. I think a person's raw ability should be measured and not be measured by the amount of drugs that you use. And that's what's happening with, players like Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and all those guys who performed admirably before we even found out that they were using this stuff. Now we found out they're using drugs. Now look at them. They're looked down upon. If they would be gods today in the baseball field if they had not touched it. And they were damn good before they did touch it. Now they touched it, became much better, and now nobody really cares about them. I don't think that's good for the public.
Okay. Is that all you want to say, Pat?
That's all I need to say right now.
Okay. Well, we'll before we open up for discussion, Pat, just let me ask you: Did you say that you thought this was a flat Earth debate?
No, that was just a joke.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
You sounded so disappointed.
Okay.
Did you wait? I just got to
Yeah,
ask.
you did.
Did you want to argue for or against? Going by your avatar, I'm going to say against, but right, please, hopefully.
Against.
I could argue for. My name's Al Jones, and I think that if you take my
could argue
pills,
any damn. It don't matter.
Al Jones.
You can see the flat Earth. My new pill's called Vision Force and let you see for 30 miles across the lake somewhere. There's these lakes that say the bridge is curved, but it's not curved. Also, MAGA.
Water don't curve.
Yeah. Also, MAGA. Nice.
Flat earther, if that's what you're asking.
No, I was just confused because when you said you thought this was a flat Earth debate, you genuinely sound very disappointed.
I was just joking around because there's a lot of flat Earth debates on here, and I just wanted one of these days I'd like to get onto a flat Earth debate.
Yeah, you can come on
Careful what you
Flatline
wish
one day.
for, Pat.
All right.
What I wanted to say real quick about your point about is it the athlete or is it the drugs? It's funny how all other forms of sports, like NASCAR, I can speak to specifically. Kyle, I can share with you something I did at work that didn't involve classification. It wasn't classified or anything like that. NASCAR contacted us and asked for a telemetry device that they could get on a secret band that nobody else could pick up, that basically measures the weight of the vehicle during performance. It measures so basically how well the vehicle's doing every lap, down to things like did the left rear bumper, if you will, dip down an extra millimeter from the previous lap. And so when we were going through doing all that stuff, I remember talking to the designers there and said, why are you going to that extreme for just 1 millimeter detection? And they said, because we need every edge we can get. And so it's funny how, because it's an inanimate object, nobody cares. But I say, why not the same thing? I mean, you're kind of constantly raising the standard, I don't know where it would fall as far as the human side goes, where human rights, I mean, where you have to force the athletes to all take steroids. I don't know if that'd be interesting. Like, that's part of the deal. Like, guys, this is what it is. If you're going to play, you got to shoot. But I do know that there is a lot of stigma associated with steroids in the country, where there's still that 80s idea of it's the stuff that Mario Lopez took it and everybody said, how dare you, and all that kind of stuff. But there's a guy I follow on Snapchat, Tony Huge, and he travels around the world. It's amazing how Asian countries have medicines that we won't get for another 30 years, and they're using it today. And so he'll try out stuff that has, the only side effect it has is performance enhancement. I mean, he's not, he'll show you, like, I've been on this for 3 weeks. I've been taking this many milligrams, no hair loss, no, loss of sexual ability, or, just stuff like that. So the risk associated with steroids has been declining. And I think putting it into an industry that makes billions of dollars, there's no way, the medical support behind it would just make it even better.
Well, the steroids that they were using, say, 15, 20 years ago, how does that differ from steroids today? And is the performance enhancement the same?
Yeah, I'm just saying it's safer. You don't see, people dealing with medical issues, attributed to it. Now, there are still those types of steroids around, but I'm just saying they've made a lot more versions that have kind of mitigated out that risk. Go to a Gold's Gym.
That was another issue I was going to bring up, was the health issue of, steroids. There was, at least back 15, 20 years ago, when it was big in the game, it was a health risk too. You screwed yourself up by taking these steroids. And steroids also, and I can speak this from experience, a mental attitude change. It made you mean. Well, my best friend, he was on prescription steroids, and yeah, his attitude was terrible. Once he got off of it, he was the best guy I ever knew in the world, and I still want to say he's one of my best friends. That he's not doing it anymore. There's a lot of things about steroids. It's just not healthy, either physically or mentally, unless things change. Now, you made a mention about putting objects on a NASCAR to measure the performance of the car, and that I don't know about that. I think once you get your car on the track, it shouldn't be altered other than what you can physically you can see. If you're going to start trying to make changes to your car while in mid-race based upon what the computer tells you, that's not the driver. It's now the team, the garage team, that's doing that. And maybe
let me clarify. Let me clarify real quick, Pat. It collects data so that for the next race they can add the improvements. It doesn't happen during the race. They don't. But it's the same idea of when you take steroids, for example. It's like diabetics taking insulin. I mean, they're doing a lot of diagnosis. They're tracking statistics. Okay, this is the kind of performance I'm getting. There's even the emotional effect, like you're talking about, the raging, which, if you want a good example of that, we had some flat earthers on the NonSequitur Show not too long ago that suffered from that.
Dale, can you play the clip, Dave? I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, I'm sure probably a lot of those flat earthers are on steroids. That's got to be drugs. I mean, there's no question in my mind. But but no, I don't think
force and that brain force. You can get it at ljones.com.
But no, I'm not a fan of using drugs to help performance. It's just a form of cheating, in my opinion. And a lot of these great ball players, whether it be baseball, football, basketball, whatever. I mean, these guys are great because they put their heart and soul into it. Then you take some average Joe, pump some steroids into him, and he's beating the crap out of everybody. You know, it's just it's not good for the game. It's not good for the fans. And you know, just think if you were actually Barry Bonds and you're pumping these steroids and nobody knew about it, and you're pumping 800 home runs out of the ballpark during your career, and all of a sudden it leaks out. You did the steroids. I don't know. Probably some people would say, well, heck, I got billions of dollars from playing on steroids. I don't give a shit what people think. Or you couldn't be one of those people who say, well, I kind of blew it. Nobody should have to blow it, especially in professional sports. This is a professional game. Everybody should be on the level. Or otherwise do what you say. If it ever becomes legal, then everybody, hey, pump it. We got to win. Everybody get on the steroids.
Yeah, it's like the athletes that have mild forms of asthma, and they take the inhalers, you know, before they go out and play, and you know they there's obviously a performance enhancement there because of that drug. So that's in the inhaler. You know, it's like that stuff's got to be brought into scrutiny as well. Like I said, I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer on. I don't have the answer on how it's regulated through the team. I just would like to see it where it's like, oh, we just found out this guy's on steroids. That's so sad. That's ridiculous. And it's like, I think it's more ridiculous that you're justifying their salaries by your hardcore fanaticism.
Well, they're going to get paid a buttload of money no matter what, if they do it or not. I mean, your average ball player probably makes, 5 times more than the president of the United States, and he's only batting 270,
Right.
And nobody really cares about him. Besides, also kind of one more differentiation between NASCAR and, say, baseball. Baseball's a team sport. I mean, you can hit all the damn home runs you can on all the steroids that you pump, and you hit a ton of home runs, and you still can't win. Your fans are still pissed at you if you can't win a pennant. In NASCAR, who cares?
Yeah, I don't really have much more. I'm just gonna admit the show's at its end, I guess.
Okay.
What do you guys
man, I tell you what.
I'm not a medical
What we're
doctor.
gonna do.
I can't answer it.
What we're gonna do, Jamie, is add for next week's is the salaries of professional sports players justified? I think that's a really good topic. So cool, guys. Well, thank you both for coming on. Jamie, always a pleasure.
Yeah,
Pat.
Yeah, I'm gonna
nice to
make a
meet you.
trip to Walmart and I'll take some photos and send them over your way, Kyle.
Oh,
And
sweet.
by the way, Kyle,
You know,
you're talking about the astrophotography thing.
Oh yeah. I still need to get with you on looking at those pictures. I am very interested in seeing them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Message
check out
me.
my channel.
I'll message you on Twitter and we can work that out.
Facebook. You could. I don't have a Twitter. I think I have a Twitter account, but I don't use it.
I can find you on Facebook then. That's fine. But yeah,
Kyle, can I plug a channel, please?
Of course you can. Go for it.
I would like to plug Mr. Atheist channel. I'm really impressed with his content, and I think that he deserves far more subs, definitely far more views. He's a seed ready for blossom. I did say plug his channel. I didn't say plug Mr. Atheist, right? I just want to make sure.
You want to de-blossom him or deflower him or what is he blossoming? What
the hell's wrong with me?
You guys are all a bunch of sexual deviants today. So much sexual frustration. I don't know what's going on.
It's at the damn forefront of my mind. I don't know what the hell. Maybe am I on steroids?
I haven't got all prettied up today. I don't get it.
I get pretty every day. What are you talking about?
He does.
Fuck you, Steve.
But no, I'd ask the chat to anybody that's watching right now as well. Check out his channel, Mr. Atheist. Give him a sub and try to watch as many of his views as possible before he starts coming out with his weekly content next week.
Yeah, and he will be remember guys, he will be on our show tomorrow to talk about the recent video that he did, sort of related to what he talked about earlier, but probably a lot more. What's the word, Steve?
What?
Intense, maybe. Intense. Tomorrow will be intense.
Yeah,
Tomorrow will be intense. It'll get heated.
Is this the
'Cause
guy
it did last-
who has that really really relaxed, calming voice?
Yes.
If you had him, Sam Harris, and Seth Andrews on, like I would be asleep immediately.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right,
Yep.
I'll stay awake.
Awesome. Well, thank you both again for joining us. And yes, go check out Mr. Atheist if you haven't already.
All right.
Well,
Thanks,
that
guys.
will be absolutely. Thank you.
And
Well, thanks
check out
everybody for
Grox 40 on YouTube for my astro photos.
Yeah, sorry about that, Pat. I was rude, wasn't I? Check out Pat as well.
I got some stuff on YouTube under Grox 40 if you want to look at some of the astrophotography that I do for a hobby. And that's kind of the thing I want to shove into a flat earther's face when they say, "Yeah, it's only a dome and there's only stars are only in the 3,000 miles away or whatever." Oh, bullshit! Get off my face.
Well, check him out for sure, and we'll get you in a flat earth debate sometime soon. Thanks, Pat.
Thanks,
All righty, y'all take care. Thanks for putting me on the show.
Absolutely. And the of you out there for your super chats and voting on a topic, we really appreciate that. And for all of you that are just watching, we hit over 1 million views the day before yesterday. So we are in the 1 million views club. So that's really cool. And we couldn't have done that without you guys. So thank you to the people who support the show, and thank you to those who don't support this show, because your views still count. And keep watching and keep hating if that's what you want to do. Steve, any final?
Just real quick, last minute thing. I'm not feeling too well right now, and I was supposed to do something for a friend tonight on my channel, but I made other arrangements. So I'm having 2 people come on my channel, and they're going to be having a toe-to-toe discussion on evolution versus non-evolution, but not creationism. Don't know what that means. But anyways, Mr. Atheist is actually going to be the host, and he's going to be moderating it. So he's going to be streaming to my channel, and it's going to be about maybe 15, 20 minutes or so.
And who's participating in that?
You don't know them. You don't know these names. And one of them wants to be anonymous, so I don't know what name they want to use. So we'll call it a surprise.
Cool. All right. Well, we will see you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. It's not 8 like usual. We'll be here at 9 p.m. to talk about faith and gays and brat towels. So fun times. See you tomorrow.